Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I am one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and alongside me tonight, as always, the one, the only, Perry Burkham.
Hey, Pikmin.
And joining us again, sort of, he was on our Talk Nintendo mini, or our short episode, but making his full episode debut, site director of Nintendo World Report, Neal Ronaghan.
Hey, thanks for having me in official capacity. And now I go from talking about one major new Nintendo release to maybe talking about another one as we get near the end of the show.
Yeah,
I'm bringing the thunder here for my buds at Talk Nintendo.
Woo-wee. Yeah. Okay, so what are we going to be doing this episode?
Alright, so we've got a pretty standard episode for you. We're gonna, first and foremost, we're gonna introduce Neal, but we'll get to that in just a second. Then we're gonna, do our normal what we've been playing, eShop, the old news block as always. And then, as Neal alluded to, we are going to have a feature segment on Splatoon 2, sort of going over the Splatfest, as well as a little deeper dive, because Neal has actually written the review for the site.
Yeah, I have put in, I think by the rough estimates of my Nintendo Switch parental controls app, I think I'm at about 25 hours, give or take.
I was going to say
cool.
Plus or minus 10 hours.
Yeah. I'm not totally sure. I did a lot of eyeballing. I think my 10th day will be tomorrow, so I should be able to get an exact number, or exact within 5 hours. But I think it was around 20, 25 when I wrote the review, and since finishing the review, I put in a little more time too, because Splatoon 2 is great.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that number's probably going to quadruple by the time everyone starts hitting the servers.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I guess we can kick it off with just a little background before we get into what we've been playing. Just let the listeners know who... I feel like many of them probably already have a good idea, but for those who don't know, who are you, Neal Ronaghan?
I run the website that you guys are all hosted on. That would be NintendoWorldReport.com. I've been writing for the site since 2008, which is a really long time ago. That was 3 years before I got married, which is weird. I was actually... So I guess I'll use this as the type of thing that I'm doing on the site right now, which is... I have a new 2DS XL that I've been screwing around with and kind of getting nostalgic about the 3DS. So I'm taking on this foolish idea of kind of going through each era of the 3DS's life and kind of writing about some of the news and games that came out in those different eras, then saying if any of them are worth revisiting, and then updating an evolving top 15 list. I call it 3DS
Awesome.
Through the Ages. But I was waxing poetic about the fact that I published a Star Fox 64 3D review the day before my wedding. So it was I think the embargo was as I was going up to get ready, go up to where we were getting hitched and the rehearsal dinner and everything.
During
and
your bachelor party.
Yeah, I had to hit post on the old Star Fox 64 3D review, which I remember being this is important. This is the last review I'm going to do as a bachelor. But yeah, so yeah, I've been doing Nintendo World Report for a long time. I've been reading the site for even longer too, and yeah, you can also, I guess you could have also read some of my stuff on 1UP, but you can't anymore. On GamePro, but you can't anymore.
Rest in peace.
And a bunch of my, I did I wrote about the weekly downloads for IGN for 2 years, but I think those you can all still find. It's just a lot of the features. I actually went through the process of making sure I had copies of all my freelance articles recently, because it's kind of sad when you're happy that you got on oneup.com and then a couple years later it's all gone, and all it is the memory. It used to be there. I have the text for it. I swear this happened. Someone paid me for this.
He's lying. You're a liar.
But it's not dead and is alive and thriving is NintendoWorldReport.com.
Mm-hmm.
And always will, because That's just how it rolls.
Because we're a volunteer organization, and if we had to pay people a living wage, we would have shut down years ago.
Yep.
Like there's a for anybody that's curious as to how the site runs, it's because our budget is minuscule, and it's kind of nice that way because we can have fun and do what we want, so to speak, without worrying about a huge expenditure to keep the lights on.
Wait, I thought you said my check was in the mail.
Take that off the air, Casey. We don't want to let the other people know.
Alrighty, well, I think that's enough of who you are.
Yeah.
But now, what have you been playing, Neal?
So I've been playing this weird video game. It's on like a cardboard thing, and there's no screen, which I thought was kind of weird. I was expecting maybe
Let's tap?
a screen that I would attach to the cardboard thing. It folded out. Mario was in this game, but there wasn't any video screen. I didn't have a controller. I had 2 dice. Anyway, I played a bunch of Monopoly Gamer over the past couple weeks.
Oh, okay. Like, where the heck are you going with this?
Yeah, I was saying the wheels were churning at first. I'm like, wait, what?
So Monopoly Gamer is Monopoly, but with Mario. But the difference is that unlike the previous like Nintendopolies that have been out there, which are just the very game of Monopoly with like, oh, it's the Mushroom Kingdom or it's Zelda. This one is actually a Monopoly game kind of designed around almost Mario Party mechanics. So it's a smaller board. It's all based off of like New Super Mario Brothers U and 2 and stuff like that. And you have different characters that you can play as. The base game comes with Mario, Peach, Yoshi, and Donkey Kong. Luigi does not come with the base game, which I find kind of funny.
Poor Ouija.
You can buy other characters separate. They have Tanuki Mario, Fire Mario, Boo, Rosalina, Wario, no Waluigi yet, Diddy Kong, Luigi, Toad, I think is the other one. I think that might be it for now.
Jeez.
So the different characters all have different abilities. One of the big things about this game is it's a smaller board, so you don't necessarily need to roll 2 dice to go forward. So you roll 1 6-sided dice. That's your movement, and there's another one that'll have an item on it, like banana peel, turtle shells, like Mario Kart items. Think that
Your item box, yeah.
Yeah, and every turn, depending on what you roll on that item box, you can do something like steal 2 coins from another player. Oh yeah, and by the way, it's coins instead of dollars because it should be.
Yeah,
right.
Well, of
It
course.
would be weird if it was dollars.
It's like, yeah, I think like they have like a Boo that's like steal 2 coins from, or no, it's a blooper actually, where that's steal coins. I don't know, it's weird. Then they have like the green shell, like the green shell you can hit whoever front or back of you. The red shell only hits who's in front of you. Like if you get the coins, you just get coins for the bank, and that happens every turn. But there's kind of this, like, you're always going after other people and trying to screw them over. Like, when I was playing it, I saw somebody didn't really have a lot of coins on them, so I'd attack them so they would have to auction their properties whenever I'd land on one of those, like, steal 3 coins or hit them for 3 coins or something like that. And in addition to all that, each character has character-specific abilities, too. So there's, like, a superstar space across the board where if you land on that, you do a special thing. Like one of them, I think Peaches, is you collect rent on every one of your properties, which if you're late in the game, that can be really brutal for everybody else, at least. And then they also each character also has the ability to enhance another one of those. So it's Toad. It turned out to be really overpowered in this game because his 2 abilities also give him the ability to roll again. So it'll be like that steal 2 coins things, but for Toad, he'll be able to steal 2 coins from someone and then roll again. For like Donkey Kong, there's a POW block that for everybody else it's only like hit everybody for 1 coin. For Donkey Kong, it's hit everybody for 2. So each character kind of plays differently. What I noticed, I bought some of the extra characters that some of them are total jank and bunk. So like Toad's super overpowered, but then like Tanuki Mario's is you can go to the next unowned property, which is useless late in the game.
Yeah, because everyone's.
Or you can hit the person on the square in front of you for 6 coins. So the odds are, in playing a 2 to 4 player game, that the the other players are going to be right in front of you, and you roll the exact right dice, that seems kind of slim to none. I saw it happen once when I was playing, and that was it. But some of these characters don't really seem to be as strong, but where they might be useful is they detail in the rulebook a party mode, where at the start of it, you have a team of 2 or 3 characters, and at the start of each turn, you pick which one you want to roll as. So maybe that's when, you would drop in Tanuki Mario because someone's a space in front of you, and hey, maybe you'll roll that ability and be able to mess some stuff up. But
yeah, get some use out of it, actually. What they should have done is had it where, like, anyone on your side, like, if you're one side of the board, as you are, make it a little more useful.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Now, does it keep all of the, like, original Monopoly rules? Like, are you still building houses and hotels on your property?
So that's a hell of a segue. You're leading me into what I wanted to talk about next. So there are properties. There are no ability to build houses on the properties. Each property is a two property set. So it's like, there's not the 3, or I don't think there's a 4. No, there's only the 3. And there's like no railroads and stuff either, because it's a smaller board. But the goal of the game, and it actually does have a defined end, is that you want to get the most points. So for every 5 coins you have, that's 10 points. Each property is valued anywhere from 10 to 50 points. And then the trick to this game that kind of makes it go a little quicker is every time someone passes go, you flip over a card from the boss deck. And then you have to fight a boss. In this case, the game comes with the Koopalings and Bowser. So you have, at the most, if you're playing, I think if you're playing with 2 or 3 people, you take off the first 2 bosses or something. But you have 8 bosses, and once go is past 8 times, the game's over. And each boss has a point value as well. So your goal is you want to get properties, you want to defeat bosses. You defeat bosses, it's just you have to like pay a certain amount of coins to attempt, and then you roll the dice, and each boss, it's like, you'll have to roll a 4 or higher, or 5 or higher, or something like that. And it goes around until everybody gives up or someone finally beats the boss. But in typical Mario Party fashion, Bowser is worth 100 points. I haven't worked out totally how much that screws up the economy of this game, but the highest property is 50 points. You only get 5 points for each, or 10 points for every 5 coins you have. And then, I mean, I guess things can happen, but you're not going to have that many coins. And, like, the other bosses, I think, are tap out at 50. So Bowser is a hugely powerful thing. I won a couple games just on the strength of beating Bowser at the end.
Okay.
But that's Monopoly Gamer. I'm probably going to have a more coherent and focused review written up on the site within a few days of when you'll hear this, or at least when this posts. But cool. I like it. I think there's some issues like with the character balance, but it's a pretty cool board game, and I kind of hope they go farther with these kind of unique takes on Nintendo characters and board games.
I actually had one question before we jumped off of that. How long are the games? Because I know, I feel like a big knock on Monopoly in general is it lasts so long. It sounds like this game has like a pretty, obviously, like you said, a definitive end. Does that come up rather quick? Is it like a game you might play two or 3 matches of?
You totally could. I think that, I'm trying to think, I should have like just straight up just timed how long it took. Depending on how many people I was playing with, it was probably like half an hour to an hour. Like, not super long. I mean, obviously, when you're first learning the game, it'll take a little while. But once you're kind of cooking, because it's basically, you just need to pass go 8 times. And that could happen really quickly. That could take a while, because, like, you go to jail, you could move to another thing, and then, do not pass go. But it moves really quick, especially once you kind of get into the rhythm of it.
Right. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I love board games.
I highly recommend it. I think it's out in the wild now. I think GameStop has an exclusive edition that is supposedly, it, like, comes with a Bowser character or something that I don't think you can get anywhere else, and I think it's, like, roughly the same price. So. Okay. That seems pretty cool.
That's good info.
Yeah.
I mean, is this made by Nintendo? I don't. Sorry if you said that.
It's Hasbro and Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know who exactly the designer is. I would assume it's probably a Hasbro joint that Nintendo like licensed the characters to them.
Gotcha.
It definitely doesn't feel like Miyamoto worked on this board game.
I wouldn't be surprised though. That seems like something he'd do.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck are you doing? Quit making board games. But yeah.
Well, speaking of another game that's being reviewed by someone here for this site, I think you've been playing something brand new, right, Perry?
That's right. I have been playing Hey Pikmin.
Hey, Pikmin.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes. I just got it last night. I was busy at work. It came, and usually, like, the mail comes before I go to work, and it didn't come before work yesterday, so I could have, like, been playing it at work, but I couldn't. And anyway, so I've played, like, probably around 3 hours is what I'm guessing. Yeah, I want to talk about it. So, I didn't really know... I haven't really looked at anything for this game ever since it was announced. Just on that, remember that 3DS presentation, or before the Switch was announced, they had that big roundup of all the 3DS stuff coming.
Yeah, they announced in September.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. That was actually when they. Yeah, that was a long. So this was a game that was kind of. Yeah. So that was a while back, wasn't it? Sheesh.
Yeah.
Man, that was a long time ago. Yeah. I haven't seen anything about it since because I was like, yep, I'm gonna get it. Usually, if I know for sure I'm gonna get a game, I don't really look too much into stuff. But anyway, kind of just spoiler-free type stuff. Getting it now, I've had lots and lots of revelations about this game. And what I'm gonna start off with, kind of, just to condense it down. It is like Mario 64 to like New Super Mario Bros. Like 3D Mario to 2D Mario. Pikmin is like the 2D version. Hey Pikmin is like the 2D version of Pikmin. It really is.
Literally.
It's crazy. And yeah, literally. But I just mean, like, it's not like it. Sure, it's a spin-off type game, but the mechanics are all there. I mean, most of them are all there, and it feels like a Pikmin game. It's really cool. Now, it's level based, so you don't have these open worlds. I mean, that you walk around and return to. You do have a segment that uses an open world in a way. It's kind of weird, but yeah, you have these levels that you go through, and it's just a 2D. It's a platformer game. Olimar can't jump, but he has a jetpack. That's kind of like Mutant Mud style. If you press it, and then it goes up, and then it stays in the air for a little bit. A bar comes down, and then it drops. So you can go in the air, and then you can move however far you can, and then it'll drop. It's really simple. It doesn't like feel really good, like you have a lot of control over it, but it works.
It really doesn't. I played a demo back at there was a new 2DS XL event in New York City back in May. So I played a little bit of it then, and I just today played the demo that's up on the eShop. And it bugs me so much that Olimar can't jump. Like, there's a lot of moments where I like wish I could just jump up there. Instead, you need to maneuver the jetpack, and I feel like there's at least in the demo levels that they seem to illy communicate, like, oh no, like, you have to find another way to get here. It kind of looks like there's some platforms that you should be able to reach, but for some reason you can't.
Yeah, I've experienced that a little bit. Usually it's like, well, you gotta grab your Pikmin and throw it at something, and then you'll figure it out. But like for instance, there'll be like some vines hanging down, and you'll throw a Pikmin, and you can actually grab onto a vine, and then that'll pull a platform down, and then you can hover and get onto it. So the cool. So I didn't know how this game was gonna be. I didn't know if Olimar was always gonna be with his Pikmin and stuff like that. But there's actually parts where you literally leave your Pikmin and it's just you, and it just kind of turns into like a slow moving, of course, but platforming game. Like for instance, you can't get into this because whenever you use your jetpack with Olimar, you leave your Pikmin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you need to get into that cave up on the ridge, so you can't bring your Pikmin there unless you throw them on the ridge. But sometimes it's impossible to do that. So you go into a cave and you just have to get the treasure inside the cave. So one of the big differences that's like one of the biggest difference probably in this game is that when you get treasure, you don't have to take it back to the onion. That's of course because they're levels. There's not an open world. You just have to touch Olimar, and then he has like a transmitter thing that can take it back. So
it goes into his backpack for some reason.
Are the levels based around like just finding one treasure and then you pop out of there, or is it more like get to the end and find as many treasures along the way as you can?
Yep. It's get to the end, and there's 3. I mean, so far there's 3 treasures in every level to find, among other secrets, which I'm not exactly sure yet how to get stuff. I don't know if you unlock secret levels differently, but I know that there are places that I couldn't figure out how to get to in the level. But I got all 3 treasures in the level. So there are other secrets in there too to find. So there might be even, more. But yeah, that's the goal. Is you go through, what you're doing is you're collecting junk to make it sparklium, I think is what they call it. It's an energy source for your Dolphin 2 that crashed on a very Earth-looking planet,
Worst pilot ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it shows a little intro, and I can't remember now. I think you hit like asteroids or something like that. Yeah. But here's the thing. The game is beautiful. I think it looks awesome. I think that they really nailed what they could do with the 2D, because that's the thing. It's like this is a 3DS game, but it's kind of like the last DS game. That's kind of like what it feels like.
I like that. I really like that, especially because it's in 2D. You can't even have it in 3D.
Yeah, and of course it would be jarring, of course, right, to have one screen in 3D and the other in 2D. So, but I think out of any game I've ever seen ever, and of course I know I haven't played some that I've heard people talk about, I think this uses the verticality of the 2 screens as one environment better than any game I've ever seen, because that's a big part of it. Having your yellow Pikmin that can go higher than the other Pikmin, that's a huge part of the puzzle gameplay, in stuff, and looking high and seeing stuff in the air and how you're going to get there and using it to your advantage. So, but it has all the Pikmin. It has all the Pikmin tropes and stuff, like linking together electric Pikmin to light a fuse so that, this platform opens so you can walk across and then getting them. If you like Pikmin, I just think that the best way to look at it is just imagine, a 2D. It's just like Nintendo's 2D version of Pikmin. So what I mean is like it's not. It doesn't seem like they're going for a crazy different spin-off with just using the characters. It's almost like, okay, we can't, or maybe we don't want to make a huge game. Let's just make a 2D version of the game. If that makes any sense. But it really hit me. I was like, this is cool. Like, Nintendo has another 2D franchise that's pretty sweet, like that kind of an idea.
That's the most optimistic thing I've heard about Hey Pikmin, and I absolutely love you for it.
Oh, well, good. Well, yeah. So I mean, and that's a good segue. So yeah, I am really enjoying it. It's a very relaxing game, I mean, it really is. Now it's been pretty simple so far, but there has been challenge for sure. And a big part of it, is keeping your Pikmin alive, and like you'll see this big enemy, and I'll take this guy down easy. You just tap it, and then the enemy just opened its mouth and just crunched on 3 of your Pikmin. It's like, oh no.
And you have so
like,
few Pikmin,
you know,
so like losing
Yeah.
3 it hurts. I lost 2 in the demo
Exactly.
and felt powerless.
God, that
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah,
miserable.
exactly.
This poor little Pikmin.
Exactly.
It's as far as like the use of the 2 screens go, as much as like I'll bag on Arzest a little bit because I really don't like Yoshi's Island DS. They also did Yoshi's New Island, which is and Fling Smash. Ugh. But they've been, I mean,
Yeah.
Yoshi's Island DS was a game that made great use of the 2 screens on DS, and that came out a decade ago.
Right.
So I guess Arzest might be the foremost experts in how to make a 2-screen platformer, because I think they might be the only company that's made like at least 2 of them.
Right. I'm trying to think. Wasn't Contra?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
Contra
known
was
for that too?
Yeah, Contra was
I
Way
never
Forward.
played that.
Did Way
I
Forward
know,
have
that's
another?
crazy.
Contra 4 is very good. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Very, very, very hard. And that's actually, I think Contra 4 is where a lot of the people that spun off to make Yacht Club games first met. So Contra 4 even has legacy in not just in Way Forward, but also with Yacht Club.
That's cool.
But maybe it's only like Arzest and Way Forward might be the only 2 companies who have made like 2 to 3 or more 2-screen platformers on DS.
Unfortunately, likely a dying genre.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey Pikmin might be the finale of that, and I mean we have a preview up on the site from Don Koopman, and he's loving it.
Yeah, I mean,
like I expected when they showed it off, and I played the demo back in May. They showed it off at like that Direct, I think in April. I was kind of like, I don't know if I need to get it, but as we get closer, we're about a week away. I think I'm gonna get this game when it comes out. I have kind of this weird sucker nature for certain like maybe not superlative 2D platformers on the 3DS. Like I love unabashedly Chibi Robo Ziplash.
Oh,
yes,
me too.
Me too.
Also has another thing in common with this game in that in the one of the demo levels, one of the treasures in the level is a copy of Zelda Link's Awakening on DX. That's one of the treasures you can get. I did not get it. I screwed up the puzzle to like go and get
on
it.
Chibi Robo?
No, in Hey Pikmin.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. That's awesome.
I think it was from like the 2nd or 3rd world was the where
Gotcha.
that one of the demo. There's 3 demo levels. There's like a tutorial one,
That is so cool.
the first
yeah.
one, and then a later one that introduces the rock Pikmin.
And like I was saying, you know, it even has those really funny, you know, when you collect stuff, it goes into a database and it has those really funny written, you know, if an alien were describing your object text.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was like
The descriptions, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really it feels like a full, like it feels like a Pikmin game. The music is great too, and the sound effects. You know, of course, when you get those flinging Pikmin sound effects,
yeah.
you know, it's hard to go wrong. But before we move on, I just want to say there is a section, and I had another realization today, and it's kind of like this. It's kind of weird. I don't like it very much for now because it just seems kind of pointless to me. But in between levels, and I don't know if this is in the demo, but in between levels, you have this like map where you send the Pikmin that you've caught to go to the places, and while you're doing the levels, they will, you know, be looking for more sparklium or whatever, and then you'll get it. And it just kind of takes a long time, and it's kind of weird, and it's kind of janky, like the way it works, but it shows off these environments in that Pikmin isometric kind of 3D view with these assets, and I'm like, they were totally making a Pikmin game for 3DS, and then they stopped making it, and these are the assets from that. Because I know they've even talked about it. I remember, I think it was Miyamoto saying that they tried Pikmin on 3DS, that they were Pikmin 3 even. I remember they're talking about.
Or was that on DS?
I
do remember them talking about.
Yeah.
I forget, or no, maybe it was post Pikmin 3 because I think that's when like the shorts came out.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. So, and these are totally from that experiment. And so they're like, well, we got these, let's use them. So,
We gotta
but
put them
I don't
somewhere.
know, It's
Build a 2D
it's just
Pikmin
kind of like,
game.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, like for instance, you get, let's say in a level, you probably get anywhere between, at the beginning, you get like 200 to 400 sparklium things, okay? And then, you go back and it's like, oh, the Pikmin have found something, and you click this and you click that, and it's like, it shows them like huddling around this big, pile of the sparklium, and it's like, they found 10, and it's just like, okay, like, I guess it's just it's not a huge thing. I'm wondering how involved it's going to get throughout using different, because there are different, like, there's spots where there's on the map where there's flames, so you don't want to send anything besides the red Pikmin there, and then there's spots with the electricity, and it's like, well, send the light yellow ones there. It's like, it's not very whatever, but the game in itself is it is easy. I'm not going to say it's hard, but it's not Kirby easy. Like, it's not
Yeah, like just
it's
go
not to that
and
level.
beat it.
It really, and I know this is so obvious, but it really does feel a lot like Yoshi's Island. That play style, a lot of kind of exploring as you're playing, but not all the crazy collectathon things. I mean, there's only 3 really big collectathon things for each level, which to me that's what Yoshi games, that's what kind of gets me, is like, I want to collect everything, then I get kind of burnt out on it. And it seems like they do a pretty good job in this, and you just really enjoy. I just love the Pikmin world. I love the cool little creatures and that you encounter and stuff. And yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. And I'm anxious to see how it gets. I mean, the slow gameplay could get to be kind of boring possibly, but I think they keep introducing new concepts that are a lot of fun. So I think if that keeps on, it's going to be a very nice overall experience.
I'm really looking forward to see what you think when you wrap it up. I think well, by your next show you'll be able to talk about it. So
cool.
In review detail.
Yeah, you
right?
can give us all the goods, the final verdict.
The embargo's on the 26th.
Oh, I wasn't planning on. That's all I was going to play. I wasn't going to play anymore. I was just going to review it now.
Okay, no, that's fine. Screw ethics. But no, like, I think I'm going to get this game, and I didn't really expect to a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
But it just, I like you, I really dig Pikmin. And, I loved Pikmin 3. I think that might have been the first Pikmin game that totally actually stole my heart. Like, I really enjoyed the first 2, but Pikmin 3 was where, like, just getting lost in that world, like, used the gamepad really well. Bingo Battle was incredible, and I want more Pikmin. And maybe Hey Pikmin isn't exactly what I want, but I'm cool with it.
It's a portable Pikmin, is really what it is. So.
Well, I already had portable Pikmin. It's called whenever I transfer stuff from one 3DS to another.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been on the 3DS all along.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking
just
forward.
having to point them into making a game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I sort of see this as just a game I'll play, and it probably isn't gonna, like you said, reinvent 2D platforming or however.
No.
It's not gonna be like the end all be all, but it's gonna be a game that I'm gonna play and I'm gonna enjoy. Because like you said, just the Pikmin world is so cute and cuddly and fun, and and also nightmarish when you see those poor little Pikmin die. But
and those Snagrets, which I haven't seen, those creepy like bird snake things.
Those things
you know
terrifying.
what I'm talking about? Yeah, they are terrifying. And then there's like that creature like in the caves that, like, I remember playing in a Pikmin 2 where, like, if you touch it, you die. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, that's probably enough for Hey Pikmin for now. But I know that Casey has been playing an indie game that came out last week.
yeah, another game. I've sort of been on an indie tear as of late, and I've had a couple. With Goner has sort of been my indie game of the year so far. It's just I can't get enough of it. Then I had a couple games that were mediocre, and this game is trending back in the positive way. Implosion. Never lose hope. Nice little subtitle. This game,
lost hope.
yeah. This game has a story, but that's not really too important. I guess Earth is done and over with, and the few remaining humans have sort of set out, and I guess sort of just looking for. I think it's a way to eradicate the enemies, the Zadas, they're called, Xzada, something like that.
All right. This story doesn't sound like it matters to the
Yeah, it's pretty much
like,
it's
you're
there.
saying a lot of letters that are trying to be words but aren't really. I think this is just an action game.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, the story is there, but not all that important. But the gameplay itself is actually pretty fun. It's a hack and slash game. So instantly for me, when I see a game like this, my mind jumps to Diablo. Like Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've sunk ungodly amount of hours into it. Yeah, Diablo is seriously one of my favorite series. Have I ever talked about it with you at all?
No.
All right, so
I don't think so.
Yeah, a quick aside, I guess. My old neighbor would never let me play. He had Diablo for the PlayStation 1. And him and my brother, they were both older than I am, like 4 or 5 years. So, like, they would always get to play, and I'd want to play so damn bad. And they'd never let me play. And then I found it for PC one time in GameStop, or I think it was actually probably in EB Games at the time. And God bless my mom, she bought it for me, and that changed everything. Because we started playing online, and yeah, then Diablo 2 came out, and that was really when the hook, line, and sinker were in. But that aside, this is a hack and slash game, so it sort of plays similar, like a bunch of monsters come up, and you're just going to be slamming on buttons, doing combos. There's like a normal attack and then like a powerful attack, and you could sort of like hit your light attack a few times and then hit the heavy attack, and you could sort of alternate how many times you hit each button, and they do different combos. And then there's like a power move that actually has like a little cooldown, so as you hit enemies, you earn like a gauge fills up, and then you can use your special attacks which do some more damage. And now with Diablo, it's not an open world, but they're big environments. Like pretty much there's like 4 different acts, and you go through it. You can run through a full act without having to really do too much. This is very level based, and in fact they're very short levels. So that was a little strange at first, because I thought it was going to be bigger, more like just hordes of enemies, where it's very much smaller, linear areas you're running through, and you'll have enemies sent out for you to kill.
Well, I know it comes from it's a mobile game.
Yeah, I know, which is really strange, because I actually learned about that after playing it, and you would never be able to tell that this was a mobile game.
Yeah.
I mean, first off,
I can see that.
It looks really nice. When we think indies and nindies, you sort of think more retro-style graphics generally, But this, they're going for a more realistic, nice graphical look, and they pull it off for an indie developer, and then especially for, at one point, or I guess it still is a mobile game, the graphics are incredible. And you were pretty much in a big mech suit, and you're just going through wrecking, like, enemies. And there are, varying degrees of difficulty as far as the enemies go. You have your your fodder that, they charge at you, and sure, they can hit you, but, like, they're not really going to do that much damage.
Your Goombas, if you will.
Yeah, and then you get your slightly stronger enemies, and then, then you start getting enemies with shields that you need to break before you can actually damage them. And in fact, the shields regenerate if you don't hit them for a little bit of time. So usually when you're facing one of those enemies solo, it's pretty easily done. But if you get 2 of them, then all of a sudden their attacks start sort of alternating, and you get knocked down, and the other one's shield comes back up, so it's sort of better to try and pick them off if you can, one at a time. But ultimately, I'm enjoying the levels. Like I said, they're pretty short. You can get most of them done within a couple minutes, like 2 to 5, 6 minutes. And
Okay.
yeah, they're bite size, which is nice, especially if you're playing on the go. You can sort of for me, what I've been doing at lunch is like, or even on break, like I can pound out a level or two and then go back, in from my 15-minute, which that I find really nice. The bosses themselves are actually the way the game breaks it up. They're into chapters, and in each chapter there's like a maybe 8 to 10 mini missions, which, like I said, are just a couple minutes long. And then at the end of each chapter, there's a boss, and the bosses are actually pretty cool. They add a couple more wrinkles instead of just like one trick ponies. They can do a couple different things that you sort of need to deal with. The second boss is actually it took me a couple tries to actually finish him off, which was sort of nice because I was wondering at first, like I did normal, and I was like, man, should I have done hard? But now it's starting to seem like there is a little bit of difficulty spike, which is, refreshing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the difficulty of the game. Like, is it easy or hard, or?
Like I said, I'm playing on normal difficulty, so for now, going through the levels, I don't really have too much of a problem. But like I said, now all of a sudden in the latter parts of chapter 2, and I believe there's 4 chapters total, the second boss was incredibly tough, and then like I said, they start adding elements where you have a couple different enemies with shields at the same time, so you can't just really get through them really quick without having to dodge a lot. And that's a big part of this game is, as you're attacking, you have a dodge roll button, and you need to really know when to utilize that, because you will get knocked on your behind, and then all of a sudden enemies can sort of hit you a little bit more, and then, like I said, if they have shields, they're going to regenerate, and you're going to have to sort of start over with that enemy again.
Are there weapons? Like, are there major weapon upgrades and stuff like that?
All right, I'm glad you asked that. So, as you're going throughout each level, you're going to, first and foremost, get experience from each kill that will ultimately level up your character, and you'll keep leveling up as you progress. In the levels, you will actually, whether it be from like a secret area that you can find or killing certain enemies, they'll drop these upgrades that you'll pick it up and then nothing will happen. But in between chapters, you can sort of go in and personalize your suit, and there are 7 different slots. So 2 of them, like there are 3 different like types, and you have 2 of each of them. So like I think they're weird symbols, but so there's like an A upgrade, and then you can equip 2 of them. You can equip 2 Bs and you can equip 2 Cs, and like they boost your damage, your
Okay, cool.
They each have different effects, and you can sort of, depending on your playstyle, if you want a little more, HP regeneration, or if you want more damage, or, they have a couple different categories that you could pick from. And then there's like a big one, and that actually is like a major overhaul, which changes up your special abilities. So, for instance, you start off and you have like your one special move, and it's sort of just like a straight like spear, and you sort of like go really fast forward and like impale everyone you hit in front of you. Then I just got one that gave me a bunch of different upgrades, and then actually changed my special to like some weird like a saucer, like a circular thing I throw out, and it pings around the level, hitting different enemies. So I actually like the other one better, but this suit has better upgrades, so I'm sticking with that. There are also
cool.
Yeah, and then throughout each level you can find different guns, and it's actually really weird to use the gun because the controls are pretty standard, like it feels right, and then to shoot you actually use the right analog stick, and just by pointing that in a direction, you'll just start shooting. It's sort of weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's a little strange to get used to. But honestly, the gun is sort of, I mean, you can get like a shotgun and a rocket launcher, but it sort of pales in comparison to just using your normal attacks.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I mean, so you mentioned it feels right. I mean, so is it satisfying? I mean, does it feel good? Does it feel like it's, or is it kind of janky, or does it, is it satisfying?
No, it feels really good. The attacks all feel good. Like I said, the dodging feels good too, and it takes a little getting used to with different enemies, and sometimes you'll be in the middle of a combo and get hit, and you'll just sort of have to make a mental note, like, all right, I need to, like with this enemy, he sort of attacks quick, so maybe I'll go in with just 1 or 2 hits and then roll away instead of trying to, pull off a little more of a combo. But no,
Gotcha.
the controls feel nice. Like I said, they're responsive. I had a little tiny bit of slowdown on occasion. It's usually when there'll be like a bunch of, like, this one time I found like a secret room and it had like 8 or 9 canisters that you could break, and I broke all of them at once, and it sort of slowed it down a little bit, but picked it right back up once they were done. So
Sure.
technically, like, for the most part, I haven't had too much of an issue, but there has been the occasional hiccup here and there. But
Okay.
no, overall, I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I've sort of wished the levels were bigger, and maybe that's actually where you can sort of see the mobile influence. Being on a phone, they probably were aiming like, let's have very small bite levels, so that way when people if they're doing this on the bus or the train or whatever, and they need to put their phone away, they could sort of get in and out. I would have liked to have seen those a little longer, and like I said, I'm hoping they might in the second half, but I don't think they probably will. But that doesn't take away from my enjoyment. Like, it's different from then necessarily of what I might have, ultimately wanted, but I'm still having a good time with it.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks fun. So it's very video gamey,
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I've been on the fence of whether or not I'm going to pick it up. I still don't really know. At this point, I might just wait for a sale, but it does seem like it's pretty good.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's what, $12.99 or $11.99. I think if it were to go on sale, like $9.99 would be a good place
Cool.
to jump in.
Awesome. Well, Neal's going to talk about one last game that he's been playing, and it's kind of a breakthrough game in some senses, I feel,
And
for Nintendo.
because they made Bomberman, kind of.
No. Well, it's kind of their first eShop game, isn't it? For
No.
Switch?
Well, I mean, technically there were snipper clips.
Oh, you're right. There you go. Okay. So it's the second
And
breakthrough.
so, all right,
Switch
so it's
eShop
what
game.
is now being called Flip Wars. Was first introduced as like what, Project Mikuru or something.
Yeah, something weird.
Yeah.
So this is the game where you're playing as what look like Metroid Prime Federation Force rejects that are kind of playing a Bomberman, in which instead of bombs, you jump up in the air and butt stomp and flip over the surrounding tiles to
It's
your
like
color.
Bomberman and Splatoon put together.
Kind of. So it's a grid-based map. Right now, all you can really do is play multiplayer. This is weird because it's kind of like an early access game, because they're adding more content. Like, it launched in Japan with like nothing, and then it came out in Europe in July, and I think that was when there was kind of like the first update, and then it's coming to North America in I think on August 10th.
This has online, right?
I got the European version. Yes, it does have.
Okay,
It does have online. I got the European version thanks to the power of the eShops on the region free.
Yes. Yeah.
But I played some local multiplayer last weekend at the NWR New York, New Jersey hangout that Casey unfortunately had to miss. But we played some Flip Wars, and it's kind of neat. I don't know how much there is to it, because it is kind of a bare-bones multiplayer game right now. But it was fun. And if they kind of added like more modes to it, more variety, I think it could be something really, really nice to have.
I'm looking at screenshots. I mean, all the levels, aside from, I guess maybe it looks like there's some like solid parts you have to work around, solid blocks. But like, do most of the levels play pretty similar, or did you feel like between the different levels there are actually like different strategy involved?
Like some of them have different, I guess, kind of like other twists on it. Like there's one where there's like it's the blue stage, so there's water and a wave will come through, and if you don't jump when the wave hits, then you'll get stunned for a little bit. But it's nothing too much. And there are power-ups that will, like, usually you're just, when you do the butt stomp, it only goes out in a cross. There's one where it changes it to a diagonal. It, lengthens your reach, makes your character go faster, stuff like that. I can definitely, it's, like, there's just not a lot there right now, but the basics of it feels good. So if they do indeed keep on adding more to this game, I'm pretty hopeful into it turning into a fun local and online multiplayer game on the Switch. Like, not obviously on a Mario Kart, ARMS, or Splatoon level, but in kind of that the little B tier. Maybe we need to force some Flip Wars online matches to happen through game nights and stuff. But it might be fun too.
Nice game to change it up a notch,
Yeah, like how Runbow was late in the Wii U's life. How it's just like, all right, Mario Kart and Splatoon are cool, but let's just play some dopey platformer.
Yeah. So I mean, just the point of Flip Wars. I mean, do you knock out other players? Is it last man standing type thing?
There are 3 different modes that they have in there. One of them is last man standing. One of them is lives. Okay. One of them is it's lives based, which I guess it could just be like, one kill only. But like the default's 3 lives. So once your lives are out, once your stock's out, you're done. There's one that's like kind of whoever can get the most kills within like 2 minutes, and the other one is whoever at the end of the time that you're playing, whoever has the most blocks of their color.
Gotcha. That's the what do you call it?
The Splatoon.
Turf War.
Yeah, the Turf War. The Turf War versus the ranked battles.
There you go. Nice. Okay, well, that's exactly about everything I thought of the game. I'm halfway looking forward to it. Looks like it'll be a good tabletop game to play with someone. So, is it 2-player or does it have to be 4?
It can be 2. I think it can be 3 as well.
Okay.
And
that's good.
I'm not sure if there are bots or not, because so far I've only played it with people around.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's one of those games I'll likely pick up. And like you said, even if you just sort of sprinkle it in here and there, seems like it'd be fun in some short spurts. But you couldn't have been more correct when you said Federation Force rejects.
Yeah, no, really. It's funny, and it's a game. I think it's made by former ND Cube or Hudson Soft people.
That would make sense.
They self-published it in Japan, I believe, and then Nintendo's putting it out in America and Europe.
Ah, gotcha.
Do we have any? August 10th in America?
Yeah, they announced that when they announced their Comic-Con plans. I think it's playable at Comic-Con this weekend.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're going to take a quick little breather, and then we're going to come back for everyone's favorite 2 segments. Alrighty, we are back, and it is time for the old eShop Roundup.
The eShop Roundup. Yeehaw.
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 Woo! Yes, and we're going to start with the Wii U download. We got just 2 games this week. The first one is Box Up for $1.49.
You better box up or shut up.
Yeah. This is one of those really simple games. It's just you take your you control box and you're going up, and that's basically what you're doing. You're avoiding walls. And you all get it. It's kind of like that Flappy Bird right type game.
But vertical.
But vertical. Yeah, there you go.
You're not going box right.
They've turned it on their side.
Exactly, going box up.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so we all get that, and then $1.49, and then Case, do you want to take the next one then?
Yes, Outside the Realm, checking in at 99 cents. This is a puzzle arcade strategy simulator. You need to collect crystals for the alien merchant, and I'm looking at screens.
All right.
It's
it's
colorful.
It's cartoony, like someone drew like all the pictures, and But I just thought it was so funny. Collect crystals for an alien merchant.
I
'Cause,
love those.
That's what aliens want.
I love those bullet points, like the things that they like make stick out, and you're like,
Yeah.
I wonder why they really wanted us
why
to know
not?
about that.
Yeah, why not? But it's 99 cents. So it's a what do you call it? Budget.
Yeah.
Budget game, if you will. So that works. But that's it for Wii U. That was a pretty light week for Wii U. And we're getting right into the 3DS download. And Neal, why don't you take that first one?
All right, so Bit Dungeon Plus is available for $8. Now it's $7.99, not $9.99.
No.
$8, 0 cents.
Neal fits right in with this.
I might have had some experience on bagging on download releases over the years. Not necessarily the games themselves, but sometimes the presentation of the games, and also got like these last dying gasps of the Wii U are just filled with a bunch of weird shit.
Yep.
Yeah, because
And I love how you said $8, 0 cents, as in it makes 0 sense.
well, because I used to bag on every game that ended like that, but then we learned
Until Donald Terry.
Yeah, he opened my eyes that the $4.99 and $5. If it's $5, you get more coins opposed to the $4.99. So I like to think
Sweet My Nintendo coinage.
Yeah, I like to think that's what they're doing, but $8, there's no reason for that.
So here's what's nonsense about this. So this is I need to double check. It's Bit Dungeon Plus. This game's also available on. I can't tell if it's. Let's see. It's definitely Xbox One. Is it also Windows? No, just Xbox One. But it's $6.99 there. Like, what are they trying to pull? Are they trying to?
That's weird.
They're trying to rip off us 3DS owners for $1.01.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Good find, Detective Neal.
But anyway, Bit Dungeon Plus is a roguelike that looks like a lot like old school Zelda. I guess there's a bunch of unlockables and customization stuff and potentially some save slots.
Yeah, I guess roguelike with save slots? I thought that was kind of
Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I think this game could be good, but I'm kind of like scanning reviews right now, and it looks like it might just be mediocre.
Gotcha. Yeah, the idea is cool. Kind of Binding of Isaac, right? You know, what I assume it's like, going through rooms. I've never played.
Having never played that
That's
game.
what people have said.
Like, it doesn't look like that bad of a game. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I think you can have fun with it. I like dungeons. Bits are cool. Plus is better than negative.
Yeah, it's always good to have plus.
Yeah. I'd rather have more than less. At least it's not Bit Dungeonless.
There you go. Bit Dungeonless. So, next up though we have Miitopia, but not the full game. We have Miitopia Casting Call for $0. This is the demo, I guess, of Miitopia, with a twist that I mean it has you cast Mii characters for 3 different trailers, because that's what the game is like.
Now I'm not.
Kind of.
I think this was actually like the first form of Miitopia that anybody saw.
Okay.
Because I think because it was revealed like it was like teased in Nintendo Directs last year, and then finally revealed at the end of one of them, and then I think the casting call demo came out soon after that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I remember that now. Now that you say that, I remember in Japan, them talking about that, and yeah. But I love that idea that you use your friends or whoever with the Miis to create the Tomodachi Life type idea, where you're creating the drama. Which, Neal, you like Tomodachi?
I really like Tomodachi Life, and I think Miitopia, like, kind of going back to what we were talking about, Hey Pikmin. I didn't really expect to want to get either of these games, but I think I might wind up like buying both games on the same day or something. Because
wow.
I mean, Miitopia is basically the follow up to Tomodachi Life, and
Yeah.
there's a part of me that I don't think it'll be quite as like kind of goofy as Tomodachi Life was. Like there was a real like aquarium-ness to Tomodachi Life that I think Miitopia might not have, but I don't know. From what I've played of Miitopia, it's very goofy, and I think I'd enjoy the full game.
Yeah.
And you think that someone who'd like Tomodachi, I mean, it is a different style of gameplay, but do you think that like that the same person would like that?
I will find out, because I'll probably my wife played the crap out of Tomodachi Life, and I will
So did mine.
I will probably let her I actually told her about Miitopia. She didn't seem totally into it, but when I told her about Tomodachi Life, she didn't really seem totally into it until I showed it to her.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
I think
Same with me.
we're in the same boat. Yeah, I had no intentions of getting this game for myself, but then I actually got lucky enough during the Amazon price errors that I've got a very nice price on it. So I'm going to pick it up, and yeah, it's going to be... My girlfriend really loved Tomodachi Life, which is so funny because I think I showed it to her just offhand, like, look how zany this game is. And then she sort of, fell down the rabbit hole. So I'm thinking that might be a game that I start with her and see if she likes it, and then maybe just sort of hand it off and watch her play, maybe. Who knows, maybe it'll grab my attention as well, but I'm eager to see how that sort of... Like you said, how that transitions from, someone who really enjoyed Tomodachi Life to see if it'll work for them.
Cool. Well, yeah. So if you want to check it out a little bit, there's the free demo casting call out on the 3DS. Case, you doing the next game?
Yes, As Divine Cross for the 3DS. This is an RPG for $9.99. Now, what's funny
That's another Kemco game, right?
Yes.
Yes, they just released I think they released one last week for the Wii U. I think. The Revenant Saga? I think. Anyway, it looks so similar. That's why I thought it was very similar. So
yeah,
maybe not.
I like the...
Yeah, there were a bunch of... I want to say this is a mobile game coming over. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it looks like it. That's exactly
that's
what
where
it looks
I think
like.
a lot of those Kemco games came from.
Gotcha.
Now, before we move on to the next one, I want to note, you wrote for the bullet point, an RPG featuring Harvey and out a lot of little importance.
What does that mean?
Now...
Without.
Now, hold on. Now, when I read the first line on the Nintendo site, it says, Harvey, an outlaw of little importance.
Yeah. That was my Siri.
I was gonna say, I was like, I was trying to figure out like what that even meant.
Yeah, and out a lot. It said out a lot instead of outlaw.
An outlaw of little importance gets himself trapped deep in the castle's dungeons. Interesting. Interesting.
I love that. Outlaw of little importance. Harvey. It's pretty great. But yeah, that makes sense, Neal, that if it could be from the mobile. So but Neal, this next game, do you know anything about this next game?
I've heard some really good things about it. Like really, really good things. I'm actually trying to see what else this I don't really like the name Abbey Light Studio, the developer. It's very familiar, but I don't really remember from what. But it's called Curse Castilla. It's out on other platforms. I know it's definitely on PC, and I think it's also cheaper on PC than it is on 3DS. It is $11.99. It very much looks like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Seems to be hard as hell. And the quote that you have pulled from it is, "The tears of a young witch have been turned into a demon to open a gateway to hell." As I'm kind of looking more at this game, there's a good chance I go and buy it right after this. It actually looks really awesome.
Yeah, it does look awesome. And I was wondering why we don't have a review. I was like, it's like when games of this cool come up, I'm like, oh man. So, but then I was hearing really cool stuff about it. So
yeah,
I'm really interested in it. And just a side note here, that's again, I said tears of a young witch. I know witch is not spelled W-H-I-C-H. That was my Siri talking.
That's what I assumed that was the case.
Just making sure.
Yeah, this game looks cool.
Yeah. And I know that Battle Princess Madeline that's going to be coming out next year is also like an homage to Super Ghouls and Ghosts too. So, which I have yet to play. I've never played it before, and I'm so excited that it's on the SNES Classic.
Yeah.
And I'll be playing that.
It's
probably streaming it.
So I was on the RFN where they did the retroactive for Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and that was the first time I ever played Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I don't really remember what I said. I think it was largely negative. I know, because I think I replaced Johnny, because Johnny hates that game with the passion of 1,000 Suns, if I remember correctly. And I think I came down on it too, because I hadn't really played it that much of that. It was basically like, Johnny couldn't do it, I got called in at the 11th hour, and I just tried to play a bunch of Super Ghouls and Ghosts in a tight span, which, with how hard and frustrating that game is, that's a bad idea. But that led to, so I was in college at the time, and that summer, my friend and I, on the Wii Virtual Console, played through Super Ghouls and Ghosts to completion. That means beating the game twice. And that was basically, that took us like a month of like on and off play to get to that point. It's a very, very hard game, but over the course of playing it then, passing the controller back and forth, I really came to appreciate that game, and it's devilishly hard, but like kind of fair mechanics. Like, because once you learn the language and rhythm of that game, it's something really special, but it's just really hard to learn that language.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I remember playing the first on the NES Classic, and it just kicked my ass. Woo!
Yeah, and the frame rate got to me too. That was the thing, like just the way it looked. For Ghosts and Goblins is what we're talking about, but yeah, cool. Well, yes, interesting. Cursed Castilla, check that out. But we are gonna switch to the Switch download. Yeah, that's right. I know it's the Switch system. It really makes segues easy.
Yeah, they tee us up every time.
Yep. But the first one we got here, the Neo Geo game, which I know that sounds crazy. It's another Neo Geo fighting game.
A weekly dose.
Yeah, there you go. Fatal Fury Special for, of course, $7.99. I don't need to explain this. I'll just say you're 4 mercenaries armed to the teeth, suit up to put an end to a reckless giant corporation. So I've never played a Fatal Fury game. I know people like the games. It looks really nice, like every Neo Geo game does. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about it.
I have a Neo Geo fighting game. I don't need it anymore. I have Mark of the Wolves.
Yeah. Yep, me too.
And that's supposed to be the best one, I think. I don't know. You know what I kind of realized with like playing, looking at Ultra Street Fighter 2 and kind of thinking about getting that and playing Garou Mark of the Wolves. I don't know if I really like 2D fighting games anymore, or at least like of that traditional nature. Like they're fun for about 15 minutes, and then I never need to play them again.
I've never really I've never enjoyed them that much. I should say, like, I've had a decent time playing them, but I've never wanted to invest enough time to know the combos and actually probably get to the point where the game is really fun. Like, I'm sure once you know how to sort of your whole arsenal and how to, sort of counter other people's, I bet these fighting games get incredible, but to me it's just, I don't want to put that much time into them, and, you can only smash buttons and hope for the best for so long.
Right, I've never got into one. That's why I kind of felt that way with 3D fighting games, and ARMS has been kind of the first game like that I've gotten into, and actually really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, and then Smash is the 2D fighting, but that's just a whole different level.
Yeah, I mean, Smash Brothers, I don't really consider a 2D fighter. I got into actually a big debate with people recently about how I don't consider Smash Brothers to be a fighting game in the same way as Street Fighter, but I consider ARMS to be a fighting game in the same way as Street Fighter. And
because, I agree with that.
That's kind of what I realized with ARMS is, as cool as I think that game is conceptually, it has the effect of a 2D fighting game for me, because like there is a higher level of play that I don't really have the patience to go and become, and because of that, basically all I have is like well, do I want to go online and get my butt kicked? Or do every now and then I'll just, like, I don't know, play with some friends for, like, a half an hour. And that's what ARMS is probably going to become for me. Whether it's playing online with friends or playing locally with friends, I don't see myself, like, going on and, like, except for when they're going to add new characters and stuff. I'll definitely check those out, as I did with Max Brass last week, but I don't see myself revisiting ARMS as much as I think I might have expected when I was playing it at first.
I just have one question. Do you use motion controls or standard controls?
I have fun with motion controls, but if I'm trying to play better, I use standard controls. I feel like
Gotcha.
I'm better at the game when I'm using standard controls.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think with those, at least for me, it was... I enjoyed, like, being able to curve my punches, and I felt like that felt really good, but the movement with the motion controls always screwed me up, because I'd forget that it's sort of almost like piloting, like, a mech almost, you know what I mean? Or like because you need to keep them straight up and sort of, I don't know, I always ended up sort of forgetting that, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, why am I running off to the right? But yeah, the stationary controls or traditional controls, you know, like... The punching might not be as good, but my movement is so much better that I can deal with a little bit less precision on my punching.
Yes.
But we're not talking about ARMS. We are talking about the Switch download, and next up we have I and Me, which is $9.99.
Is this like some kind of like Me, Myself, and Irene thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I always think of that one.
I tell you what, looking at the screenshots, it looks beautiful. So this is a puzzle platformer where you control two cats simultaneously, and they've got a little blurb here from the site. If there were another me, observing myself from the perspective of a spectator, how would I regard another me? How would I get along with another me? It looks really cool though. I like the art, like the art direction. It's like the background sort of looks very like watercolory painted effect to it, and like the cats are just sort of little blobs.
You just like it because you control two cats.
I do love cats.
I actually had my cat came over and like nuzzled against my leg when we started talking about this game. So maybe
They must know. Cat sense.
I will point out that I and Me has the second lowest review for a Switch game on NintendoReport.com.
Ooh, really?
David Lloyd reviewed it for us a couple weeks ago. Gave it a 4 out of 10. He did not like. I think he thought the puzzles were very, very simple. I think that's the kind of game where if you're into that vibe, maybe it's good, but it might just be a little too light. At least that's what I remember him talking about.
Yeah.
Worth noting, the lowest review score is by one Casey Gibson.
I'm doing that. If you guys ever seen
Vroom.
If you ever seen Heavyweights, you're the fattest kid in camp. I was doing the little shoulder pumps there. Yeah, that game's woo. That's something.
I know. You're so lucky you got to review that. And remember, you downloaded that at PAX.
Yep.
Yeah.
To play on the ferry on his way back home.
I'm sorry.
And then I remember him texting me, dude, this game is so bad. That's funny. Well, Neal, why don't you bring us to the next one?
The next game is Demambo, which is out for $12.99. Casey reviewed this one. But you wind up giving it a 6?
Yes.
I think I echo a lot of your concerns. I had a little fun with the single player. When I played the multiplayer, I think I potentially had negative fun while playing the multiplayer of this game. It was really, really disappointing. I was kind of excited for this game. It seemed like it had a really cool aesthetic. It just, I think the controls feel bad. It's like jumping in that game does not feel good, and I think the whole one-button combat idea just is not intuitive, and it doesn't feel good.
It stinks, you know?
I'm so sad that none of this game feels good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can tell that a lot of heart went into it, and you know that a lot of good ideas. I mean, the concept, you know, it's just maybe to like it shouldn't have gone past the concept stage or something like that. I don't know.
I honestly think if they had just thrown some items or some sort, because to me, like the multiplayer, you know, you could play like a couple matches and then you're like, okay, that's it. But if they had some sort of outside elements, like you could pick up items and sort of, because I found like the levels aren't huge, you know, it's a screen-sized level, but you're a really tiny little ball. So even with, you know, I didn't actually get 4 players together. I the most I got was 3 players, and it just felt like, oh, if you didn't necessarily like want to get into the combat, you could find a spot to like sort of stay out to the side. Where, you know, if they had elements where you could like throw an explosive item over there, and then they need to get sort of into the fray, you know, just some more chaos. I don't know. It just
like the levels were too big, and some of them it took too long to like get to the area where you could die.
Yeah, like the one, I think the very first level, I think there were a handful that were open, but it was like a very like small sliver of non-blocks where you're thrown into, and then it was just like most of the map was blocks you'd have to break away before you could even kill anyone, you know? So like for the first couple minutes of the match, you're just sort of like, all right, well, we're all sort of just hit into each other and try and break some of this map. And yeah, I don't know. It just, like you said, I wanted it to be fun because it like you said, it would have been a good game to sort of, you know, have a few friends over. You know, it didn't have online play, which sort of stinks as well. But, you know, where you could throw that into the rotation of your multiplayer games. But to me, for what it is, you know, it wouldn't even be worth firing up to play the 2 or 3 matches you're most likely going to play.
I think Demambo's hands down my most disappointing game on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like I kind of want to never talk about it again because, you know, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Like, and don't buy this game. Like, that's my recommendation. Like, I think if I actually had to play more of it and sit down and write a review, I don't think I'd challenge Vroom for the title of lowest review score, but it would not be pretty.
I would say if you do have any interest in this game still, wait for it to go on sale. It is at $12.99 right now, so a little expensive.
Check out Casey's video review.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
I was going to say my first, but I guess second video review.
Yep. Okay, well, moving on, we got Levels Plus, Addictive, well, it's Levels Plus, okay, then colon, Addictive Puzzle Game, which I thought, hey, you can't put that in the title of your game.
This is very presumptuous.
Yeah.
Yeah, finishes for $6.99. And Justin Nation reviewed it for Nintendo World Report. And Neal, do you know something about this game?
It seems like it's very similar to Threes.
Right, and do you know? I don't know what that is. I don't know what Threes is.
Okay, so Threes is this awesome game, made actually some people who would later go and work on Tumbleseed, worked on Threes.
Oh, such a good game.
So imagine that art style, but with like this neat little like tile moving game. So like the way that Threes work, and as far as I know, Levels Plus does. I've not played the game. I just wanted to kind of. It looked like it might be up my alley. I might actually break down and buy it at some point. But like the way Threes works is that like you'll have, you know, 2 1 tiles, and then you put them together and you get a 2 tile, and then you put a 2 and a 1 together, you get a 3 tile. And then if you put like 2 3s together, then you get another tile, and you have a limited amount of space, and as you move, more tiles appear on the board. And it's all about trying to get a high score while still being able to make movements.
Okay.
And I think that's
description.
I think that's very similar to how this one works. I do not know entirely exactly how it works, but I think that I know we have some video up on Nintendo World Report TV, so check that out if you're interested.
There you go. Cool. And like I said, $6.99. That's a really good price on Switch. I think anything under $10. Like I said, I feel like the best price is $9.99 for a game. I mean, of course, it depends on the game, but I just under $10 is an easy buy. But speaking of games under $10, this next game and last game is not.
No, it is not. Death Squared, $14.99, but I believe we have someone here that would tell you it's worth every penny.
Oh yes, Death Squared. Really cool game, fun game. Talked it to death. Wink, wink. Before on this man. I'm killing it today on the podcast. Great multiplayer game, great tabletop game, great Joy-Con usage because of the Joy-Con by itself is not a comfortable controller for the most part, but it is comfortable.
Don't tell that to me.
In Death Squared, because all you need is the analog stick, and it works so well. So, if you have a dedicated time to play with another person, it is totally worth it. And even if you're up for a good challenge, it's worth it for a single player. So, also check out my review on Nintendo World Report. And I think that does it for the eShop Roundup. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Woo! All right, and now it's time for
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
Alrighty, we've got a light-packed episode here for the news. Not a big week in the news front, but a couple cool things. I wanted to kick us off first with something that I don't know if either of you two care about at all. This past weekend was EVO, which is the fighting championship series, like the really big tournament they have every year out in Vegas. And I guess we sort of talked about how we didn't really like 2D fighters that much, but I don't know, does esports interest either of you guys?
A little bit. Like there have been years where I've paid attention to like Smash Brothers at EVO. This was not one of those years, but
it doesn't. I appreciate it. It doesn't interest me. Like I don't know anyone or want to watch it or anything really. Sure, I like to see the little videos of like the crazy things that happen, on Twitter, but
yeah,
that's really it.
Yeah, I was able to watch the Melee's top 8, which was pretty good. Nothing too exciting. Armada, he's like the best in the world. He plays Peach. He beat Mango in the finals pretty handily. I did not see the Smash Wii U finals, but I actually heard that was like arguably one of the most hyped final 8 of all of the tournaments, because I guess Salim, I think it might be
Salem.
I think they call him Salim though, or Salem. I don't know. Maybe Salem. I'm not 100% sure. He actually I guess had a really crazy losers run, and Zero I know is one of like the top dogs. He was able to how these tournaments work. It's double elimination. So if you win all of your matches, you go to the grand finals, and the loser has to beat you twice in a best of 5 set. So apparently they went in the grand finals, it went full 10 matches, and he was able to come back and do the reset and took the championship. So apparently it was super exciting. And the last day, actually,
sounds fun.
I'm not a huge Street Fighter V fan, but it was on ESPN, I believe ESPN2, and it was pretty cool to watch on ESPN and see esports sort of getting hyped up. And Takado,
yeah, that's awesome.
He came back and beat the I think he was the lone American in the top 8, or maybe there was 2 American players. A lot of Street Fighter is a lot of Japanese players, so the American he buckled under the pressure. Boy, whew, buckled hard.
Sweaty controllers.
Oh, you could tell. I felt bad for him because, like I said, how you sort of have to reset. He lost that first thing, and then it was all over. But the crying, I think the nerves got to him. But enough of that fighting business. Purry, why don't you take this next one?
Oh, so excited and happy about this. Jackbox Party Pack 1 and 2 are Switch bound. Woo wee!
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this. I just about what time is it? About 4 hours ago was playing this on break with my staff. We play all the time at work on my Switch, and it is so much fun. And I just want more games. I know I've heard that maybe, and Neal, you know about. I mean, you've played Jackbox, right?
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
two?
I played the hell out of them. I'm actually gonna bring up. I forget what games are on which, but I know Drawful is on at least one of them, and Drawful is incredible.
Oh, that makes me feel so good. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we
let's,
play tons of Quiplash, so.
so what's in
But yeah.
Jackbox? Jackbox Party Pack 1 has You Don't Know Jack, which that's like where it all kind of came from.
Yeah, I remember seeing those when I was little. Like that's an old game.
It doesn't work quite as well on the app because I mean it was a game that predated them doing this whole like not the app but like on your phone or tablet while you're playing. It kind of like square peg round hole a little bit there.
Gotcha.
The first one also has Drawful, which is fantastic. That's where you basically like oh god, it's been a while since I played it, but you have prompts and it's kind of like a weird game of telephone.
Gotcha.
Word Spud, that wasn't good. Live Swatter isn't great. Fibbage is very good. I think Fibbage 2 might have been in Jackbox 3. Maybe?
No.
Okay.
No.
Jackbox Party Pack 2 has Fibbage 2. So that's one where you have to make up there's a prompt and there's the right answer and then everybody else makes up lies. That's fun. 2 also has Quiplash. That has, I think Quiplash 2. I don't even know. Is that in
Quiplash 2 is on the third one.
Okay, yeah. So it's a version of Quiplash is in Party Pack 2. Bidiots, which is a not as good version of the drawing element in Drawful.
Gotcha.
Earwax, which is this weird thing that like mixes together sound clips and titles for things, and then you're kind of voting on the names of stuff. It's weird. I've
heard that can be pretty fun, but yeah, it's kind of
yeah. It's not like that's probably my least played out of Jackbox 2, and then it's also got Bomb Corp, which is a little bit like what's that VR game like oh god, like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes or something like that. I think I butchered that name, but it's similar to that where like you each have different things on your screen and you need to work together to try to defuse bombs.
Gotcha.
And it's pretty cool. Like I made the comment on Twitter recently that when Jackbox 1 and 2 hit Switch, and there's also Jackbox Party Pack 4 is coming out later this year, not confirmed for Switch, but if they're bringing 1 and 2 to Switch, you would think that like they're going to do that.
Oh yeah,
they've got to.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to get all. I haven't even gotten I have 1, 2, and 3 on my PS4, but I think when 1 and 2 come out, I might just buy all 3 for Switch because that's
so cool for portability.
Yeah, I can still do it on the TV if I wanted to, but then I basically have like instant awesome party wherever I go.
Yeah. I've still never played any Jackbox game.
Dude, I can stream it now.
Yeah.
I can stream it.
Yeah, we'll have to set that up one night.
I mean, I'm ecstatic that it's on Nintendo platforms because now like we can do that, and it's not weird.
Yeah, it's not random.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of scared to stream it though, just because if I were to get random people playing, some awful things could happen.
Yeah, I mean, the worst comes out of me in games like this.
Yeah, it's very hard to be politically correct to play the game. And,
like
I
can't remember some of the things. So I think I think it's Quiplash that has like the final lash or whatever to end it.
Yeah,
and
last lash.
And the last lash. And some of the things that because by that point, like you kind of made a break. So I just go for what I think is the most horrible thing. It could be a response for that. And I've gotten people being mad at me at the end of that because I will say the darkest, most offensive thing I can think of. Yep. And guess what? Yep. Usually a lot of people pick it. So like, sorry, not sorry. Like I regret, but if I were to be streaming this, I would not do that.
I regret nothing.
Exactly.
A W is a W, boys.
Casey, it's like an ad-lib game basically, or Mad Lib.
That's so funny.
Game. So it's kind of like that, but we will play it soon and we'll stream it. But really excited for Jackbox. But next up, what do we got?
Neal, why don't you jump in on this one?
I haven't seen this exact quote. Ubisoft will announce more Switch games quite soon. I wonder what those games will be because already, I mean, Mario and Rabbids is out next month. I can't wait for that game.
Me either.
Like, holy Lord, I did not think I would be that excited for this game.
I am so middling on that game. Like I want to get it, but I'm telling you, Splatoon 2 is coming out. And
Dude, you're gonna need a little breather, and this is
Yeah.
gonna be just the game,
Casey,
baby. Ooh,
bite your tongue. You don't understand.
would-
My little breather was going to work for 8 hours every day, and then coming back. So no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm excited for it. But yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. There's a bunch of Ubisoft games for Switch.
But are like outside of Mario and Rabbids, are any of them actually really that great? I mean, Just Dance 18.
Monopoly. Hello, you just talked about it.
All right, so running down the list of what we know that's on the way: Just Dance 18, Steep, supposedly. Although I've heard some stuff that the development of Steep is a little rough. Which, considering that they announced that at launch and kind of didn't mention it at E3 at all, despite the fact that they announced a big expansion for the game.
Yeah, not a good sign.
For the Olympics. Which seeing that they have that expansion, I do think the Switch version will come out. But yeah, I've heard some scuttlebutt that it's going through some development struggles.
Is that an open world game?
I think so.
I believe. Yeah, I believe so.
I read that somewhere. That sounds pretty sweet.
Oh no, I'm when they first showed it off, I was like, that's pretty cool. And when they announced it for Switch, I was like, heck yeah, I'll totally check that out. Because, it struck me enough when they were showing it off. I guess it was, not this year, obviously. The year before, that was their big game they showed off.
It was, their closer, I think.
Yeah, so when I saw it, I was like, it wasn't something I was over the moon to check out. But, it piqued my interest enough that when they announced it for Switch, I was like, all right, I'm down to check it out. And, like you said, they've sort of gone radio silent.
Yeah.
The buzz on it, and I played a little bit of the beta last year on PS4 or Xbox One, and I actually forget which. I think it was Xbox One that I played the beta on. But I wasn't that impressed with it, and then the reviews came out and were really kind of middle of the road. I love me some extreme sports games. I actually really dug EA's most recent SSX. I love that. Love the hell out of me some Tony Hawk Pro Skater. But this, I don't know if this ever actually does come out on Switch. I might try it. I'll be open to wanting to play it, but who knows?
Sure.
And the other two,
you can use Waluigi when on a snowboard.
Yeah, that's all. If they added Mario,
Exclusive.
if they added Mario characters to Steep, I'd be in day one.
Exactly.
I'm that weak. And that's.
What happens if it was classic 1080 characters?
Also day one.
The snowman.
I'm that weak.
Yeah, I think
Ricky Winterborn.
Yeah, and then they have an unlockable board where they're just riding one of the wave race vehicles down the mountain.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
So in addition,
Rusty Shackleford.
Have you guys ever?
I just wanted to say that.
Wave Race Blue Storm. Have you guys ever seen the sarcastic announcer?
No, I've always heard of it, and I can't wait.
Dude, Google it. There's some YouTube videos out there. It's pretty fantastic. So then the other Ubisoft games, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, Snore, and Monopoly, which I will comment on Monopoly that I've heard that the Ubisoft version of Monopoly is terrible. However, I like this idea of board games on Switch. Using it as a tabletop device, I want to see this happen across the board. I think I'd beg for a version of Carcassonne on Switch.
Oh, Neal, don't get me going on Carcassonne, Neal.
Oh, have you ever played Star Wars Carcassonne?
No.
So they add combat. Neal, it's real neat.
Neal, I'm gonna show my crazy nerd out. It's coming out now, but I seriously make homemade expansions for Carcassonne and yeah, it's bad.
That's awesome, dude. Carcassonne Carcassonne is one of the most immaculately designed board games I've ever seen.
It is my favorite board game of all time, and one of my favorite games of all time. And I even got some guy in Holland to make me some pewter, some metal, meeples of all of the things, and that's what I use when I play.
That's incredible. There was we
gotta play that, dude, next time we see each other.
Next PAX maybe if
Yeah.
if we're all in there. Go to PAX South. I'm probably going.
Really?
Yeah, my sister-in-law just had a baby, and she lives near San Antonio. So,
Two birds, one stone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
But yeah, there was a recent gaming convention that I went to in Philly. Too Many Games. They had somebody there was selling Carcassonne, like nice like clay coasters, which I thought was really neat. I thought about getting them, but I did not. But I love that idea. Oh man, that game is so good.
In case that it's we should play it too. I just thought of a really good idea because you're talking about board games on Switch and everything, and I maybe you thought of this, but how cool would it be if they released like a physical game, like cartridge, like a retail release that came with a type of board game that you could put around. Just imagine this, Kate. You use Amiibo as your pieces, and you put the Switch in the middle, and you can use it for different things, and it becomes like a board game.
Amiibo Festival 2?
No.
No. Why'd you have Mario Party e-reader 2? That's what we call it.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a Mario Party game. That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
I mean, that's the thing.
yeah.
Like with the tabletop conceit of the Switch, I think there's so much you can do with it, and I just worry that this is going to be like the Dungeons and Dragons game on Wii U that made too much sense. Like, just think about that.
Right.
You basically like the gamepad is a DM screen. Like, why did that never happen?
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
The old
Like,
Wii U.
I feel like I need to go develop games because I need to solve. Or at least like go to depths and just ask every person who used a Wii U. It's like, how come you didn't make a D&D game? Like,
What are you
contact
waiting for?
Wizards of the Coast. Be like, guys, what the hell? This was right here. I know it bombed.
Yeah.
But like, you could just be like, oh look, here's the D&D companion on the Wii U, and like Wii U sales would have gone up by like, I don't know, 15.
Yeah. I know.
Being optimistic, I see.
Oh, I mean, like, you know, they finally got. It's kind of like the Minecraft thing. Finally, if that was, who knows if that would have completely changed the whole Wii U's lifespan if that was at like day one type of thing. And then like they finally have like Metroid coming out on a 2-screen handheld. Finally.
Yeah, it's only
Thank
been
goodness,
13
you know.
years.
Hey,
Yeah. So
at least we're getting it.
that's right.
And not that far
But
off
we
from
should
now.
move on.
Yeah, just quick before on the last touch on the Ubisoft news is
Yeah.
the notable games left off the list that, aren't coming to Switch yet. South Park, The Fractured Butthole. I feel like that could be a game that could, fit onto the Switch pretty easily.
I think it could. I don't think it ever will.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but it would be really cool. Like, again, that's a game that I would totally be interested in playing, but, like, not enough to go, like, play it on my PS4 sitting down, in my
Like a
room
noob.
all the time, Like, if I had that on the go. And then
Yeah.
also Far Cry 5, which is probably even less likely.
Yeah, that might be an actual technical issue. Like it might be
Yeah.
hard or compromised to run on Switch.
Yeah, I wonder...
Which I know people hate hearing, but it's the honest truth. Some of these Xbox One and PS4 games, kind of push the system to the limits, and just we wouldn't have the system be portable and affordable if it weren't for those limits that the system has. And I think that at the end of the day, it's nice that we have multiple devices that all serve different needs and have different capabilities.
Yes, and I was just gonna say what it could be. I could totally see them doing an Assassin's Creed for the whether it be a re-release of a game that maybe didn't come, or like Black Flag and like 3 and 4. Like I could see them doing that. Based off the Wii U architecture, getting a new on the Switch portable. I think it'd be cool, actually.
Yeah,
I would buy Black Flag.
And I'm not I'm not as up to date on my third party like middleware engines or whatever, but I know I think Steep, part of like the reason for bringing that over is that that'll help Ubisoft get their proprietary game engine running on Switch, which might make future ports more possible. But obviously, if there is trouble with the development of Steep, that might not bode well for that Ubisoft middleware engine. I think. Yeah, because EA's is Frostbite. I think there's this Snowdrop.
There's this,
No.
yeah, no,
Yes.
it's Snowdrop, but
Snowdrop.
actually it looks like Steep uses Anvil game engine, which it does say as listed as a platform is the Switch and the Wii U. And like I'm looking at Far Cry uses Dunya engine, so and that is not listed, I don't think, as Switch, at least not for now. So, like I said, I don't think Far Cry would be the pipe dream, but
But I could totally see a re-release of something, you know.
But the good news is we only have to wait for quite soon. So, whatever that is.
Yeah, because it looks like Anvil Next is what Steep's Anvil Next 2.0 is apparently what Steep is on, and that's the Assassin's Creed games, Ghost Recon Wildlands, For Honor. Not that those games all, you know, you get to a certain point, like maybe you're not gonna port every year-old game, just some of them.
Yeah. Ghostlands would be pretty cool. I know that game's super popular.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if, you know, Steep and its port actually works, then you have the infrastructure in place for future Ubisoft games being possible. Whether or not they happen or not, or whether, you know, maybe they'd have to sacrifice too much to make it on Switch and work on portable. I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. I keep on saying how important this holiday season is for the Switch, and if Nintendo can't make enough of the system to satisfy demand, if demand is surely there, that'll be bad. But
which we should probably mention. Have you heard about those crazy lottery lines in Japan for a Switch?
Yeah, I mean,
like it's insane.
And it seems like across America, it's like depends on the area. Like by me, like, you know, going in stores for the past month or so, like I see Switches everywhere. Like maybe not a lot. Maybe there's only like one, but like I was at a Target last week and I saw like 7 or 8, like in their display case.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't.
Whereas I know some areas people have a really hard time finding them.
Yeah, I've been seeing them popping up online, you know, more frequently and lasting longer. You know, still selling out, I feel like, usually, but at least, you know, people are, you know, getting a chance and not the first 30 seconds and they're gone.
Yeah.
Moving on to more relevant news, though. The Wii U has recently got an update. Version 5.5.2U. The first update since January 11th of last year, and they simply said further improvements to overall system stability and other minor adjustments have been made to enhance the user experience. Now, what is interesting... So
that's taking out piracy.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, what's, I guess, some interesting news... Now, I can't confirm 100% if this, you know, if there's been any updates to this, but... Apparently, there was someone who data mined, you know, into the patch and found the following, that the Miiverse service has ended. Miiverse and any software features that make use of Miiverse are now unavailable. So that's, I mean, I guess ultimately at some point they're going to shut the servers down because, you know.
Makes sense.
There is two things with that, is that 3DS also uses Miiverse.
Yeah.
So I do think, I mean, it was put in this update. I mean, probably for a reason. They are probably have a timeline for sunsetting Miiverse and the Wii U. I don't think that's gonna. I think we have a while.
Yeah,
I just
have a while for 3DS.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I think at this point they're just getting to the point where they're not going to bother putting out any more system updates for Wii U, and this might be one of the final system updates. But, you know, Miiverse could be around for a while, and I don't know how intrinsically linked it is having Miiverse on 3DS and Wii U. And if it is, then as long as 3DS is around, it stands to reason that Miiverse will be up on Wii U, because, like, I mean, I don't know the technical background of how Miiverse works, but I feel like if you're going to have it up for 3DS, you might as well keep it around for the 12 people who have a Wii U.
Yeah, there's no point in... You know, like you said, the servers probably aren't getting too stressed from the Wii U side.
Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, I mean, the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection is a precedent of that getting shut down. What was it? Was that like 2013? I forget. I think it was 2013.
I think it might have been a little later than that, but I could be wrong.
I'm double checking. But that was more to do with, that was running on like GameSpy tech, and I think GameSpy was going out of business.
Good old GameSpy.
Yeah, and I think that was the issue. Okay. 2014, May 2014. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's like less than 2 years after the Wii was replaced. So
Yeah, it should be interesting. Like you said, it's probably just future proofing, so they don't have to do any more updates, and they can just sort of flick the switch. But yeah. Now this next piece, I'm gonna give this one to Perry because he was actually the one who showed it to me, and we had a nice little laugh.
I love this story so much.
Yeah, I thought this hilarious. So, the Banjo-Kazooie composer Grant Kirkhope.
He's a good
done
Twitter
a lot of
follow.
stuff.
Highly recommend.
Okay, there you go. He was talking about his embarrassing first encounter with Miyamoto. He says, "Yeah, my Miyamoto story is a bit worse. It was when E3 had moved to Atlanta in 1997. Nintendo had a party in a museum, and we all got hideously drunk. I saw Tim Stamper, who is the Rare founder, talking to Miyamoto, and I introduced myself as the composer of Banjo-Kazooie, totally drunk. And he just looked at me with the blankest expression. He couldn't tell what I was saying. And then a while later, I was in the bathroom, and this is embarrassing. I was trying to pull down Donkey Kong 64 designer George Andrias's trousers for a joke. He was trying to pull down a guy's trousers for a joke. I was on my knees and looked up to see Miyamoto staring down at me. That was the last time I spoke to him.
Like that's incredible. Like
So
it makes me wish I worked at Rare from like 1996 to 2001.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like a good time.
I was just trying to pull his trousers.
Because that was.
It was a joke. It was a goof.
So he was trying to pull Miyamoto's pants down?
Yeah.
I think that's terrorism.
Miyamoto's like, man, some weird things go on in Rare offices.
Maybe okay, guys. Like once he had some doubt in Star Fox Adventures and was like, just sell them.
Yeah, he was like,
they were worth it when they were worth it when they were pumping out hits.
Yeah. This is actually the real reason why Rare is not with Nintendo anymore.
Yeah, Miyamoto was ecstatic when Microsoft purchased them. He's like, thank God.
Yes. That's fun.
Alrighty, well, I figured we'd end on a laugh, so I felt like that was a pretty good one to include in there. We're going to take a quick breather, and when we come back, it's time to get into Splatoon 2, baby.
All right, welcome back. It is time for the topic of the show, and that is Splatoon 2.
Yes. That's right.
Yes, and we have Neal on here. He wrote the review for the site. It posted today, the day of recording. Right? That was today, right?
Yeah.
It's been a really long day.
That's almost not today because it's almost after midnight by me. But
yeah, there you go. So yes, we're gonna talk about the Splatfest and then just about the game in general. But yeah, we all. I mean, I know that Neal. I know we all played the Splatfest.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah, Casey and I streamed the whole thing, which is really funny, and it was actually pretty epic because at the end, we were trying to get both of us to King Ice Cream King, which was harder because I think we all found out everyone picked ice cream.
Yeah.
And you're just basically, we were basically just playing ice cream the whole time, and maybe like 1 out of every 4 or 5 we'd play a cake. So I think that made it. I think if you were Team Cake, you were playing a lot more matches because you were getting matched up way easier.
Yeah, so I had, because this was the night of the New York, New Jersey hangout sesh at my house. So we had multiple people playing the Splatfest in one place. And most of us were on ice cream. There was one guy on cake. And
the lucky man.
Yeah, Justin. Yeah. Justin got to play a hell of a lot of games, while as everybody else, like, we'd be sitting there waiting, and he's like, "I'm on my second game," and we're like, "Oh man."
Exactly.
Yeah, I figured that yeah, the system is probably always going to try and hook you up with someone on the other team, but then, when there was...
Yeah.
Because the percentages actually came out. It was 76% ice cream to 24% cake. So, I mean, pretty clear-cut winner there. So, it, like Perry was saying, when we were going for the race to get, to level up that final time before the servers shut down, it was like, come on, just give me a game. Like, quick. And then, like, I'm thinking, yeah, had we been Cake, we probably would have been, Cake Kings like an hour ago, but...
Yeah. It was funny, Neil, our friend Aaron, who played with us, he was literally 1 point away.
Yeah, he had 98 out of 99.
That was really funny.
Yeah, we actually got pretty lucky because it was Perry, me, Aaron, and then I'm pretty sure Lemonade listens to the show, but if not, he is a Patreon supporter and a very good dude. He hooked up with us for like the full 4 hours, so we pretty much had our 4-man squad rolling the entire time, which was nice.
Yeah, usually we have good old Dan, and he was busy or something, and then by the time, I was just like, nope, Lemonade's in.
Yeah, he'd been replaced.
Yep.
Now, Neil, did you really have any, like, disconnect issues? I'd read some on Twitter that people kept getting DC'd, but for the most part, we had our, like, party, like, for some reason close out maybe 2 or 3 times over the course of 4 hours.
In between matches.
I had a similar issue, but it wasn't very rarely. Now actually, yeah, I'm not even limited by any embargoes now. I think there was one point where I was having trouble connecting when playing the actual game for review. And I think there was once or twice during the Splatfest. It kind of blurs together. I just played a bunch of Splatoon, and Splatfest was part of that time. Not enough that I'm annoyed by it, but enough that it was noticeable. That's the disconnections that I had.
Mm.
So, I have a question for you, just because I'm interested and I'm curious. Could you play the Splatfest on your
No.
retail copy?
No,
Okay.
yeah, it was all separate. Which
I thought it would
that's
be.
totally fair because everybody was
Yeah.
level 1, and you were
Right,
limiting it
right.
to the 4 different weapons.
Yeah, they had
yeah, I
the
didn't think about
dualies, the splatter shot, the sniper, and then a roller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I played
okay,
a lot
cool.
as a roller. We had John Raridan streamed on Nintendo World Report TV, and I joined up with him, and he talked smack about how I should be really good, and I played some of my finest games at Splatoon, and usually John would let me down. So those are fighting words.
Do it for John.
But no, I mean it was a ton of fun playing online with people, because that's the one thing about the Splatoon review process. I've done it with both Splatoon 1 and now Splatoon 2, is you wait for matches a lot more often because limited people have the game, and you need to have, for the most part, 8 people to go and play a multiplayer game. So there's a lot of waiting in the review process, and then you get into that team and you hope for dear life that no one leaves ever, and you can play for a very long time.
Right.
But it seemed like the pre-release waters were a lot more open this time around, probably because there's considerable more hype about Splatoon 2 than there was Splatoon 1.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what a different world we live in, right? Like, I mean, if you reviewed the first one and then now reviewing the second one, I mean, the times have changed. Splatoon is a huge success, especially in Japan, but, everywhere, so...
Like, you could probably find me on a podcast from before the first one came out being like, I don't know if it'll do well. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the worst take that anybody could have had, because Splatoon wound up taking off very well.
Because it's on Wii U,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
I mean, that was the logic. It was this weird niche thing on Wii U. Didn't have pre-existing characters, and it worked. It worked beautifully. It worked better than I think Nintendo could have ever imagined.
Oh, they had to be stoked.
It is a straight-up phenomenon in Japan. Like, not quite like Yokai Watch level nonsense or anything like that, but, like, it's close. Like, they have concerts for Callie and Marie. Like...
Yeah.
I wonder, especially now, like, when they were developing Splatoon 2, the debate between, like, do we bring Callie and Marie back, or do we start, make 2 new ones? But the reception I've seen to what Pearl and Marina have been like really, really over the top, like positive as well. Especially Marina. I feel like initially people were like, I don't know about Pearl, but from what I've read, I feel like people are coming around to her too as well. Yeah. I just love the stay off, like don't get cooked, stay off the hook.
Yeah, which isn't quite as cool as Stay Fresh.
No, but it's so weird that I love it.
It's so weird. Like I'm not super into like all like the waifu crap or whatever, but yeah, just keep on adding more of these ridiculous characters because like Callie and Marie were so like charming, especially the writing was really good, and going by the first Splatfest, like Pearl and Marina are extremely well written. I loved how like because everybody threw out with the ice cream and cake stuff about how like well you can have ice cream cake, and they made that comment in the game.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, I was in a Callie and Marie. I honestly couldn't tell you which one was which. Like I knew there was one that was sort of like a Debbie Downer type person, you know, and then like I couldn't tell you the names, but
yeah, they're like twins, right?
Team Marina, baby, let's go. my Octoling.
Yeah,
well, I think people were saying she might be like a cuttlefish or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember people were like, is she an Octarian? But then, like, the Octarians are, like, the bad guys, right? Like, there can be Octolings that aren't, enemies.
Well, there could be something in the single player that's crazy.
Well,
now,
I guess speaking of which,
I will neither confirm nor deny the craziness of the single player.
Yeah. So, I really don't want to know spoilers, really. I mean, there's not a lot of things to spoil. I do want to know, is it super fun?
It's very fun. I think I don't think the 3D platforming is quite as good as they try to make you believe as you get near the end. I think that Splatoon 2 single player in general is more inventive, bigger than the first one. There's a lot of really cool moments. The idea of, pretty early on, you have the option to play through stages with a lot of different weapons, and it just kind of keeps going. Like, I think even in the last world, they're still introducing weapons that you can then go back and take through every other level if you so chose.
Oh, great.
And that lets them do things like have kind of levels more focused around the charger or the slosher, which kind of, forces you to learn how to use that weapon a little better. And
yeah, I was reading that in your review.
They do some really clever things with all those, and it's a lot of fun. I don't think I'm as blown away by the single player because it's kind of like Splatoon 2 in general. It's more of the same. Which, that's not bad. Like, it is improved. The single player in Splatoon is like factually better than the single player in Splatoon 1, but it lacks that freshness. It's gotcha. As I closed out my review in the hokiest way possible, this might not be as fresh, but it's still off the hook.
There you go.
But that's like the best way to sum it up. Like, that was like when I was looking for like what could my closing line of the review be. I'll be like, you know what, that kind of actually says it all, because it's, we've played Splatoon already. Like, we know the score. This is the score. It's better. They made a lot of refinements. It's still just as much fun, and I'd get deep into I'd stay up super late playing this multiplayer, playing with a lot of West Coast people.
Well, I think you said it in your review too. It was like, it might not be like a full step forward, but the first step of Splatoon in general was so far ahead that like that's more than enough,
Yeah, like this does feel like Splatoon 1.5 in some ways, but who cares? It's really fun.
Yeah. In a big part, right, is now we have it portably. So yeah. In a sense, I guess it's not online, you still need portably everywhere. But you can play single player.
But that's kind of one of my problems with it. Outside of the game a little bit, just thinking of like Splatoon 2 in concept of it being a game on the Nintendo Switch. It doesn't really seem to go with a lot of what that system's about. Like, when you are not connected to the internet, you can only play single player. Or local multiplayer if you have people who have Switches and their own copy of Splatoon 2. Like, there's not, like, that's that's not a rooftop party game. Like that's a you need to plan yourself a LAN party.
Yeah, organized event.
Yeah, like you need to. This ain't gonna be like you're in the park and you're like, here's 3 other people with Switches and Splatoon, let's play. Yeah. Like no, like this is a premeditated effort that you need to do to be able to play.
Game Boy Advance leak cable.
Yeah, to be able to play
Four Swords Adventures,
Salmon Run with 4 people in the park. Like you need to like be like, all right, guys, we'll meet there around 4. Like,
gotcha.
And it's just like it's kind of a little deflating because I wish. I mean, I am no game developer, so maybe this, they would have to compromise too much to make this work, but, like, I would have loved to see, like, Salmon Run on split screen or something.
Salmon Run download play?
I mean, that I know for a fact is unrealistic, because that'd probably be a sizable download. Like, the reason
it'd be the dream.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that would be awesome, but...
They did remember with Mario Party DS. They did have a completely
3DS.
3DS.
And they are doing that with Namco Museum as well.
Exactly. So they could do it, and I think that is such a good system. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a way to kind of, entice people to maybe get the full game. But I think that works. That worked well on DS and 3DS because it's small files.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's easy to, connect wirelessly to another person's system and download a very small file as opposed to, I don't know what the Splatoon 2 test fire is, but that'd probably be about the same size as what you might be downloading for Salmon Run.
Yeah, I think it's like 1.3 or 7 gigs.
Like that would take forever, and that'd be untenable.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Other things about Split... Okay, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as, game modes, obviously we know Salmon Run, and, I want to touch on that in a minute, but the rest is pretty much the same, right? We see Turf War, and then in the ranked modes, we see the 3 with Rainmaker, the Splat Zones, and
Tower Control.
Tower Control, right? There's no other new modes to be done.
And as far as that, like, the new maps are really good. I absolutely hate Port Mackerel in the first Splatoon. I'm not a big fan of Moray Towers. I've now moved from just disliking Port Mackerel and really liking Moray Towers. So those are the improvements that have been made. Those are the only 2 returning maps so far. I think there's at least 6 or 8 maps I think are available at launch, and they're gonna add more. But in Moray Towers, they add ink rails around the towers, which makes it so cool. Way more fun to move around those towers. It's way easier to get from a bottom tier to a higher one. Really, really smart addition there. And in Port Mackerel, they kind of shifted around things a little bit, where there's now sponges on the map that you can shoot them with a certain color, and then they'll get bigger, or shoot them with the opposite color, and they'll get small. So it kind of just adds a little bit more to the map there. And oh god, I hate Port Mackerel. That's my least favorite map from the first game. And
okay, hold on. I just want to ask. Now, do you use... Because here's the thing. My favorite is Seekers. That's like my favorite sub-weapon. And, and Port Mackerel is perfect for Seekers because they do that straight line,
Yep.
So I can kind of grid it, and I can cover a lot of stuff. So I just... Yeah, it's funny that you say you hate it, but I'm wondering if you ever use the Seekers or if,
not as much, but I do see where they would be good there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Port Mackerel is a map that if you're on a team that doesn't kind of get the drop in, then you could be down so far that you almost have no chance of coming back.
you can get pushed back pretty easily.
That's what I feel like. Port Mackerel, every other level, has a very good give and take, even if one team's very dominant early on. But I feel like Port Mackerel, in its original form, is much more impressive with that, whereas in its Splatoon 2 form, it's a little less dominating.
Gotcha.
Now, I think Moray Towers also, they lowered how tall the actual, where you start off on. Didn't Aaron say he noticed that when he was rolling the paint, that they must have... I thought he mentioned something about it being quicker to actually paint all of it. opposed to.
It might be.
I didn't hear. He might have. I didn't hear that. I didn't notice that. But yeah, maybe. I don't know. They probably made some sort of change.
But I think like the
besides
rails
the
or
inclines.
those.
Yeah, the rails.
Yeah, those are. I'm
So
so
cool.
happy those came in.
And they work. I love the idea of you kind of have to like capture it with your ink.
Yep.
You know.
And you can have it
so good.
shot and change to the other one while you're on it, which sucks.
Yes.
But it's kind of awesome. Like they use a lot more of those
But you
single
can
player.
jump off whenever you want.
You probably seen them in playing the test fire in Splatfest, that they use a lot of those single player elements in the multiplayer levels more, and it's a really good idea.
Yeah, I feel like I remember people talking about like why aren't those in the multiplayer? So it's nice to see that they sort of, whether it was listening to players or more maybe just they realized, oh wow, these would have been perfect and sort of made sure to get it right for the second time. But I'm excited to see that moving forward. Just all these new maps is going to be nice. Now, Salmon Run, I talked a little bit about it on the show previously, you know, because we were lucky enough to play at that New York event a couple weeks ago. But now having it at your own expense now, did they set it with the review copies? Because I know it's going to be limited time.
How does it work?
We had 2 days that we could have played it during the review period, and if we didn't do it then hopefully we could play local co-op. Which they sent us 2 review codes for Splatoon 2, so that way we could check out Salmon Run. So it worked out nicely because then I worked on the text of the review and doing that, and then Jared did all the video stuff. And then Jared came over last weekend and we played a bunch of local co-op Salmon Run, which that plays as you probably described when you talked about it before, how there's the, starting at 5% and going up in increments of 5 going up to 100%. 100% is horrifyingly hard.
I can imagine.
I think Jared put up a video on Nintendo World Report TV showing off Salmon Run at 100%. Like, it's insane. But that plays a lot like that demo version. You have weapons that you can choose from, and then you go into it with people locally. Then online, it's a different experience, at least from what I've seen in the somewhat limited experience I've had with it, because it was only playable for 2 days over the course of the entire review period. And
so weird.
It's like, I didn't think it would bother me as much as it did, but it bothers me so much because I absolutely love Salmon Run, and some of that is because of what they do with the online. So the online, it goes like you have a ranking level that you're doing that you're bringing up, and depending on how you do in each time you go, you get like points that then you get bonuses after a time, like during each like day of work. If you get a certain amount of bonuses, then you'll unlock exclusive gear and other stuff. And that's all really cool. And for each job, there are, I think it's 4 weapons that at the start of each wave, you will randomly get assigned a weapon.
Ugh.
So, that was my first reaction. I was really mad about it. But then I started getting pretty good with the slosher. Then I was forced to use the charger once. And it kind of works out because the boss salmonoids, some of them, if everybody was using the splatter shot, then there's some boss salmonoids that would be really, really hard to get. But having everybody forced into different weapons means there's I don't know if you remember from the demo, Casey, the one that would have the kind of balloon inflate at the top of his head.
I think the iron head or something.
Like doing that with a splatter shot's kind of hard, but if you have a charger with that or a slosher, you can just you can just take him out in one shot.
Yeah.
And
see, I was gonna say, I remember stuff like that with the original single player on the first Splatoon, where some bosses and some missions were so much easier with some of the different weapons you can choose from. So yeah.
And just going through those 3 waves with people, it's thrilling, it's fun, it's awesome, it's so much fun, and I just wish I could play more often. And it's baffling. I don't understand it. I like.
Why can't you do it in private matches?
Yeah, like even if it was just with friends, like maybe they only have it open wide to people online, and like I wish there was some explanation as to like what the reasoning is behind this, because so far, the reasoning that I've heard when I brought it up at that appointment was something along the lines of like, oh well, we wanted to have it be for local multiplayer because that's the point of the Switch. Which kind of circles back to my complaint about, like, I don't really see what Splatoon 2 has that kind of makes it a Switch game. Not that it has to be, this empirical example of what the ideal Switch single-player and multiplayer game should be. Like, it doesn't have to be, because it functions as both a handheld and a home console. And that's kind of the weird thing the weird line that it walks is that it can kind of go between two worlds. And I think Splatoon 2, like, yes, you can play it handheld while you're at home. I don't really see myself playing that far away from home. Except for, like, hopefully playing some Salmon Run at, like, PAX East or something.
I was going to say, for a local co-op of Salmon Run, you're going to need $1,400, not including tax, for all those Switches and games. But,
and also, it's I'm gonna note that Salmon Run with 2 people kind of sucks. It's best with 3 or 4, because that's what I played locally a lot of. And
is it
with 2 people? It's okay, but it's just way more fun when you have 3 or 4 people. Because with 2 people, it's kind of like one of you goes down, and like that you're done. Like in some cases, especially as you get to harder difficulties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it like tuned to like, oh, it only has 2 players? Let's then they sort of tune it to
not that was really noticeable. Like it could be, but it just gets really hard with just 2 people. But I had so much fun with it in 3 and 4 player, and really I think what I might do when the game goes live, because I think the next time that Grisco is hiring is launch day. I'll probably just be going into Salmon Run right away.
So the other modes are available at the same time, right?
Yeah. It's not like the other like ranked and turf war is always running, which makes the fact that Salmon Run isn't available most of the time. Like, you can't even do the tutorial, and that's the annoying thing too, is that when it is online, you can't just hop right into it. You have to do the tutorial first, and the tutorial is kind of long, so it'd almost be like maybe it'd make more sense to be able to let you kind of play the tutorial, like Star Wars Battlefront, for example, did the thing where that's a predominantly multiplayer game, but they have a couple kind of cinematic single player experiences that show off the multiplayer, or kind of intro you to the multiplayer in a single player way. And I feel like maybe Salmon Run would have been better by okay, we're not open right now, but here you can do this tutorial and a mission or 2 or something. I don't know. But it makes me really mad when I think about how limited Salmon Run is, because I think it's going to absolutely neuter what could be an amazing mode.
I actually had 2 things I really wanted before Perry. Sorry to cut you off, but I remember seeing a schedule somewhere, a mock-up schedule, and I don't know if it was 100% true, but it seemed like it would be available a lot. You know what I mean? Multiple times a week, so it's not, like you said, it's not going to be like a Splatfest where it's once every true blue moon, Yeah. So hopefully maybe player response will be like, man, we love Salmon Run so much, we want more of it, and maybe they'll start opening it up more often.
They because that was in the direct. They kind of showed that, and I think it was there was a 24-hour session Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then there was nothing until Thursday the next week. And then I think there was I think maybe there was one on Thursday, then there was one on Saturday, but it's still what?
Yeah, just let me play.
I know, for example, Justin Berube usually works on the weekends. He gets screwed over by Splatfest as it is. Okay, I guess I hope his schedule is free on Wednesday to play some Salmon Run.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I was just going to say, this is something, I could see Nintendo patching this in or something where it's available all the time in the future if the demand...
They should. They should do that at launch.
Yeah.
I hope. Now, my other question...
I mean, they've done stuff like that, so...
And maybe this is also tying into the Nintendo Switch Online app a little bit. Because, I mean, I think part of that is you might be able to, like, set up playtimes with friends.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
a good point.
The app is on my phone right now, but I can't connect it to my system yet.
I was wondering, now, did you see an option for Salmon Run Online? Can you set up a group of 4 friends and then jump into it, or is it always going to be something
Yes.
that... Okay, you can do
friends.
that. Okay, all right.
And you can even do the thing like, you could get if you only have like 2 or 3 friends, or I guess, or if you only have a group of 2 or 3, you can then like get a random or try to get a random for your party.
That is amazing to hear.
That's the thing. Hopefully we'll get to play it, and we won't be busy during the 4 times a week when it's available.
Hey,
yeah.
well, okay. Well, now, does that go for the other modes too?
No, you can do every other mode normally.
No, I mean like ranked.
Oh.
Like you can't team up with 3 people and then get another random.
I haven't been able to test that as much because for ranked, I did
Okay.
not team up with anybody.
Okay, because that's like what all.
Yeah.
That's like the birth of this most ranked mode on Splatoon, and so yeah, and the biggest,
I
most
remember that.
annoying, stupid, dumb thing is the team when you match up. Like we would always have me and Casey and Aaron, and it would be us 3, and so sometimes we could get a 4th like with Dan, but not all the time, and the matchmaking is awful, and they would never let us have just another player on the team.
Yeah, it would always be
3
4 on
versus
3.
3, and if it's not, it's 3 versus 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
And it's
oh,
just
you've
bull
got
crap.
3 players. Why don't we throw you up against 4 A+s? Good luck.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, that happens.
just-
Like that's part of the reason why I kind of stopped playing ranked after a while, or at least like we do private battles those couple times, and I do rank there. But like,
Oh, dude, private battles are the best.
yeah, I mean
can
that's
pick whatever
even
you
more
want.
for the fact that like I mean you got to get to that point where you have a bunch of guns because you can't get
Yeah.
you can't rank up or get currency in private battles. But
True.
yeah, so you gotta rock normie online for a little bit.
Which is a shame. They should do it because, like, arms in private battles, you still earn your coins, to get more arms. It would have been nice if they added a feature like that. But I also guess I could see people really abusing it. But then again,
Yeah,
it's like the coins
maybe.
don't matter. Maybe don't give you rank up, like your rank wouldn't go up. But at
Yeah.
least give you the currency to unlock more guns. But
yeah.
But yeah, so I guess I figure, just sort of, you want to give your last little pitch on Splatoon before we wrap it up? How your gist of your review?
Did you like Splatoon?
Sure did.
Oh yeah.
Then go buy Splatoon 2.
There you go,
Okay.
folks. You heard it. You heard it here first.
like, did you like Splatoon? Do you want more of that? Then go buy Splatoon 2. Did you hear good things about Splatoon? Did you want to play it? Go get Splatoon 2.
Yeah. Got it.
If you did not like Splatoon, then don't buy Splatoon 2.
Then you're a monster.
Yeah. Then
Yeah. Also, stop listening to this podcast.
Why are you here? I hope you have a
Just
great
kidding.
day, but I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's issues with it that really bother me. Also, you still can't change your weapon mid-round, or like as in like when you're in a party playing turf war in between matches, you cannot change your weapon. You have to back out in order
I
to do
never
that.
understood that.
Yeah, like that's
I don't
get it.
understand. I don't get the whole difference between turf war and then the ranked mode. Like I don't get why you can't just get on a team of 4
Yeah.
and then go play turf war. You can only get into the 8 where sometimes you're playing against each other, sometimes you're not, and then it's so funny. Like on ranked mode, you can pick your weapon in between. It's like it just makes no sense. But
Yeah.
whatever.
There are a lot of things I don't understand about what they're doing with Splatoon 2, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and like I am mad about the Salmon Run stuff, but guess what? I'm probably going to be like, okay, got Salmon Run on Wednesday this week. I guess I'll try to not do anything on Wednesday night so I can go home and play some Salmon Run.
Better cancel my plans.
I'm not happy about it, but it's good. Like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, Nintendo's like, we're gonna tell you when you're gonna play Salmon Run.
It's gonna be like, guess what? Salmon Run is not active today because buy more Zelda DLC. And I'm like, all right, you guys got me.
All right, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
But I already bought it.
That's diabolical.
Buy it again.
It's just like, all right, we released a new Pocket Tournament came out. Guess what? Salmon Run not available for 2 weeks. Go buy Pocket Tournament.
It's extortion.
It's like, and online is down until we hit a sales threshold of this much for Pocket Tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, and next thing you know,
it's
we're
shut
all
down
playing
unless
Pokemon.
you get a key.
The only way that they could salvage Salmon Run's limitations is if they tie it into the lore somehow. If they have it where it's just that like it just shut down for a month because man, like they went on vacation.
Yeah, winter vacation. Oh yeah, they'd be right around Christmas too. Like
Hibernation.
everyone just got their Switches. Like, nah, this mode's not available.
Or like somehow like Grizzco seemed like it's run by a grizzly bear trying to get his hands on some salmon. But like if like the grizzly bear just attacks Inkopolis at one point, I don't know.
I like it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But maybe just have it so you can play it at any point.
That would
without having $400 worth of stuff.
I think that would be the best solution.
14,000 or $1,400.
100, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah. More than I'd care to spend.
Well, I'm looking crazy forward to it because Splatoon is one of my favorite games of all time. So, yeah, can't wait.
We'll be playing it this weekend, that's for sure.
Woo-wee.
Now,
Yay.
I think that's going to wrap it up for the show. We do have a little housekeeping and some news. I guess we can just get right into the sort of exciting news, I'd say. Perry, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so pumped.
Yes. Now, Perry picked up a capture card, so he has joined me. And now we are going to start doing some YouTube stuff. I know we've sort of hinted at, that we've been, messing around with ideas. So we've got the first couple things and a schedule.
Yeah, we got two new weekly shows that we're going to start debuting.
Yep, starting next week, which will be on Monday, will be the mini play series, which is just like a short 5 to 10. I believe the first episode, Perry plays a little Kirby action, and he plays it about
Kirby Game Boy, the first game,
for about 10 minutes and talks about it, and it's fun, and it's going to be a really cool series moving forward.
My dog makes a cameo.
Yep, Eleanor does. You hear some claw marks running in the background there.
Yeah, coming down the steps.
And then we also have a new one called Talk Nintendo Challenge, which will be a weekly show coming out on Wednesday. And Perry, why don't you give him the elevator pitch on that one?
All right, so it's going to be a challenge between me and Casey. And it could literally be anything.
And I know most of you were thinking...
let your minds run wild.
I know what most of you were thinking. Is it really going to be a challenge like Casey's just going to wipe the floor? Now, we're going to try and keep it competitive, and if I just happen to beat him every time, so be it. It'll be fun and fun to watch anyway.
Exactly. But for instance, our first episode, we did just a hoops tournament in ARMS. First to 20.
And it's a doozy.
And it's it worked. I can't believe
no spoilers.
How fun it was. I just can't believe how amazing it was. It was so great. So it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's going to be coming out on Wednesdays. Hopefully, we'll get into a good.
I think
a good jive. So
I think we should be able to hit these pretty easily. And then Friday is going to be the full episodes come out on YouTube. Honestly, if you're listening to this, you're probably not really even going to need to check that out, unless if it is easier for you to listen on YouTube. We do have all the episodes. Well, not all the episodes. I think starting from like episode 37 or 38, moving forward, we're going to have them all up there. So yeah, it's going to be something.
There are images on that too.
Yep.
So it's kind of an enhanced podcast of some sort. But,
so those definitely going to be worth checking out, and I'm going to put a link directly to our channel in the description, so you can just click there. But it's actually just Talk Nintendo on YouTube. So we'd love it if you could go subscribe and check out the videos there. Otherwise, I think that will truly bring us to the end. You can find us on Twitter at TalkNintendoPod, and you could find myself at case_jets. Perry?
At P. Burkham.
And Neal, where can we find you and anything you want to pimp out? Let's hear it.
At NRON10 on the Twitter. I guess one thing I already pimped out the 3DS Through the Ages thing. Going out to patrons real soon at NWR. If you are a patron and you're listening to this,
yes,
there might be a few waiting for you. So last year we had this idea of the NWR Hall of Fame, where we tried to figure out like the must-have classics on the Nintendo systems throughout years. Are kind of they had to be older than 5 years old because you need to let these games kind of gestate a little bit. Like it'd be premature to be like Breath of the Wild's the best game ever made because like it came out 6 months ago.
Would it though?
Let it simmer. Let it simmer. So that was our cutoff. I think it was basically like Xenoblade Chronicles was kind of the last major game from when we went back because it was 2016 when we were kind of setting these. And there's a convoluted voting process that's kind of mimicked from the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame, like that voting process. I kind of mimicked that, and we came up with 8 games that got approval to join the NWR Hall of Fame. It's inaugural class. You probably could guess a lot of them. There aren't too many surprises there. Maybe surprises that they're there in the first batch. I don't know. But yeah, we have 8 games, and we have videos coming out and write-ups to go in line with those videos. It looks really, really awesome, and I'm excited to share that with y'all. And then after we do that, because that would be the 2016 class, then we can start thinking about the 2017 class and planning that. And that's hopefully it won't take us almost a year to get it all done. I blame the Switch.
Well, it's funny to think that 2017 voting for the year could be coming up so soon, and like I said, next thing you know, it's going to be January.
Yeah.
This year has been going by so unbelievably fast. I can't believe it.
Yep. Neal, thank you so much for coming on the show. We have wanted you to come on. It's just been so busy.
I do a Talk Nintendo
I can't believe
only Casey's there.
I didn't know anything about that until he told. It's like, yeah, I'm recording something with Neal tonight. It's a Talk Nintendo. It's like, what? But
well,
yeah.
You're on a need-to-know basis, Perry.
I can't
okay?
believe it. I can't believe it took us to 43. I can't believe we've done 43
that's incredible that you guys have been doing
Neal.
it for that long. Like it's almost a year. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We haven't missed an episode yet either, so it's pretty cool.
Like a little over 2 months until your anniversary.
Yep. Either rain, nor sleet, or snow, nor dreary night. I don't know what it is. We're like mailmen.
Yeah, we show up.
We're Newman.
That's something we do. We definitely show up. But until next time, thanks again, Neal, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.
Giddy up.
I regret nothing. A W's a W, boys.
Screw ethics.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!